Welcome, everybody, to episode 92 of the Destiny Digest podcast. Hello. We have a pretty good panel today. The folks off screen are Asefa and Sammy Cat. Welcome. Glad to have you guys here.
Hi, guys.
And then we have on cam, we have Tidley and Epic Dan. How are you guys doing? Hello. So yeah, lots of news in Destiny this week. But first, before we get into all of that, how's everybody's week been? What have you guys been playing? What have you guys been getting up to outside of Destiny 2? Tidley, let's start with you, bud.
Sure. My goodness. Well, I actually finished the exotic mission.
Okay.
So I did a little bit of Destiny. I did it duo with my husband, and I did not find that part you hated as nearly as bad as you did. You had me braced for this horrible situation, and I'm like,
I haven't played it yet.
I'm
sorry.
Okay. Well, I won't overly
I gotta do these things before.
But yeah,
I'm just
all I will say is there's a portion of it that reminded me of Kingsfall that Dan hated, and I did not think it was so bad. I think actually it's really funny when I married my husband, we met through Destiny, and he basically said in our wedding vows that he wanted to two-man all the things in the video games. So it's like, isn't that cute? I know, it's so gross. Anyway, it's adorable.
Just disgusting. I love it.
So find you someone who will two-man all of the things with you in video games. So I've been playing Marvel Rivals still.
Cool.
But is speaking of two-manning things, isn't It Takes Two they're coming up with a new duo game?
Split Fiction.
Cool.
Split Fiction I think came out this week.
Split Fiction, yeah.
This week.
Oh, is it out already? Have you guys tried it out
yet? It just came out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I watched a little of it. It looks
all right.
good.
I mean, there's a pig that's farting rainbows around or something like that. That looks cool. I'm into that idea.
Perfect game for you, Tidley. Perfect.
I mean, I was like, you have me at the pig that's farting rainbows to get around. It's making farting noises and literally using the okay. I was entertained by that. But yeah, I'm good. Of course, daylight savings is shit.
Yeah.
Do not like daylight savings. I'm exhausted today, but
Terrible.
It is so nice to have a little bit more sunshine. Actually picking up the convertible tomorrow downtown.
Oh, that's
nice.
Sunshine. So excited about that. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, dude. So that Split Fiction, it's cool.
Yeah.
Because you can buy it for $50, and then you can just give
a pass.
Yeah, you have a pass
so
to give to a friend
when you buy it.
Mm-hmm.
That's sick. I love that idea.
Yeah, and it's cross-play or it's cross-platform. So anybody can play it.
It's couch console though, right? Do you have to be there with the person you're playing with, or
no?
No? Okay.
I don't think so.
I did it with a friend for It Takes Two. I bought the game. I gave them the code. Yeah, gave them the code. They downloaded it,
you could do
and boom. Now we played on PC, and this was back in 2020, and it took a little bit of messing around because back then EA's system was not great.
Mm-hmm.
But once we got it to work, it was really, really smooth. No lag at all.
Is it split screen still?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're playing on your game, it's split screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't mind it because most of the
notice
information is so tight that you really don't miss anything. Also, you get a lot of really interesting. I don't know about Split Fiction, but when It Takes Two, you get a lot of really cool things happening because you saw what your friend messed up with because it's both on the screen. Makes it also really easy for you to guide them because there's a lot of section of the game where you have to tell them to do something or they have to tell you to do something. I'm excited for Split Fiction. I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Same. I didn't know it was out. I'm gonna buy it. I played that with my partner and it was amazing.
March 6th.
Is it like a relationship test, Seth?
It can be. Literally.
Do you feel strong enough in your relationship to play it?
Yeah. It has broken up couples, no lie. I've heard that people broke up over this game because it requires. Here's the thing though. I mean, Tilly, you know my partner. One of the most patient person you've ever met, right?
He's a sweetheart, yeah.
He's a sweetheart. Well, not always a sweetheart, but he's extremely patient. And you have to have somebody that's extremely patient because, oh boy, it's not always easy, and like
No,
you will fuck up
no.
and stuff will happen. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've heard people say that they've broken up over this game, or like they tried with people they were not in a relationship, and like it went really bad, and like their
Really bad.
relationship took a hit
Yeah.
too. Like it's insane. It's very funny.
Oh,
It's a
that's funny as
testament to
hell.
how strong your relationship is if you play this game. It Takes Two. I don't know about the Split Fiction, but It Takes Two is a testament to your relationship.
I'm assuming it's kind of similar. It looks like kind of like puzzle solving and
Yeah.
platforming and
Yeah, it looks very similar.
a collaborative kind of thing. Like I'm just a terrible platformer in every game I play. So I don't know if it's going to be for me.
It's
but
not
I'm
that
really-
bad of a platforming, no. It's not that kind.
It's not that
Very-
bad. Okay.
Those
I'm
games are
bad at
very
platforming.
forgiving.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, maybe I'll
I'm
try
bad
it
at
then.
platforming, Tilly, and it actually managed to still go through. So you're
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
You'll be
maybe I'll
fine.
try it. I mean, we
Try
get
it with temper.
Yeah, my husband and I, we get
Please.
along in an IKEA, so I think we could probably make it through.
That-
You'll
Oh,
get
man.
That is
yeah.
that is huge. That is huge because
That's a
the
whole
last
other
time
one, yeah.
Ginny and I were there was a husband and a wife. Who,
Oh my god,
like,
IKEA's the worst
oh
for
my
couples.
god! Oh my
It's
god!
so bad.
She was like, like we didn't know anything was going on necessarily. Like there were some looks being shot like between like man and wife,
The
like
two of them.
Yeah.
somewhere, and then like we turn a corner and the next thing we hear is, "Do you think I can't read, Dale?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
Hey, Dale.
oh, Dale, you fucked up. Dale, you fucked up."
Oh no.
Oh, it was so
Oh,
good.
no. I think it's partly because like in IKEA, like it like it's very circuitous
Right, yeah.
intentionally to kind
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
walk you by all these goods to try
And
to get you to
confuse
buy
you.
more things.
And
But
confuse
it's
you.
like
Mhm.
you end up in like a maze of inexpensive Swedish furniture, and it's like
Mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
it's not good for relationships. It's
Yeah.
really bad.
Oh my god,
It's a
it
test for
was
sure.
It's another testament of
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
it was
IKEA.
so good. It was so like there was
That's
just
hilarious.
the Schadenfreude.
But you and
there.
Jenny were fine. You
We
were,
just
like,
kind of chuckled at one another and we were like, we're not
You're
them.
just tee-hee.
And then we walked
Sucks for
away.
Dale.
Right? Sucks for Dale. Sucks for Dale's wife more so than Dale, I
Yeah.
think. At that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel for the wife more. Epic Dan, what about you? What have you been doing this week?
Outside of Destiny, I've been playing nothing but Monster Hunter Wilds.
Okay.
As
Oh,
you
I've heard that's
probably have heard a lot of
fantastic.
people, and that's been my life, just hunting monsters and carving up all the parts and
Mhm.
having a really good time. I think it was for me. I think it was a really good time for the game to come out. Obviously, Destiny has stuff next week, but
Mhm.
it came out right after all the stuff that came out for Destiny, so it's been nice to take a small week and a half break,
Mhm.
get another 100 hours in another game just to be refreshed for Tuesday.
Heck yeah.
What does your
man.
palico look like in the game?
It depends on my feeling. I've
Oh.
made my palico look like a carrot, made it look like
Carrot!
like a snow bunny. They have a lot of fantastic and insanely funny outfits for the palico.
That's amazing.
So unfortunately, sometimes I have chosen not to let it look cool for the sake of giving it the appropriate stats I need for builds.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll worry about transmogging stuff, and even my
Mhm.
characters. I know monsters, just like Destiny, the end game is fashion, and I'm like, I don't care right now. I need these stats and I need these buffs. I'll deal with the
Work
the bill
harder,
later.
lap it
Yeah.
on.
Fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion.
That's been my life.
I've heard
Yes,
that
yes.
this one's way more approachable.
Yes.
Than Worlds or than Worlds.
Then Worlds. I played Worlds as well, and
Yeah.
what's funny is I played it back when it first came out, and I wasn't real. It was the first it wasn't the first Monster Hunter game, but it was the first one like for Western audiences.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had not even heard about Monster Hunter before a while, and then I found out like it was a whole series.
Whole scene.
So it definitely was more. This one's way more accessible for if you're seeing all the hype of it and you're like, maybe I'll get into it. Then this is the one for you. There's a lot of their systems that were really grindy. They've removed or made a lot easier. Not telling Sammy to play it, but the bows are busted in that game. If you ever wanted to, I was saying the other day,
Let's go.
the bows are
just have to
really,
say
really,
this.
really fun.
This is the first time, one of the first times actually, where I will say that I am a hunter bow main, and people are like, "Oh, you started playing Monster Hunter." I'm like, "No, guys, no, I'm talking about Destiny."
That's kind of funny, yeah. Yeah, that's I'm personally a Gunlance main in this game, and it's really fun. But unlike the previous Monster Hunter, there were certain guns or weapons that weren't that good. This one doesn't have any, which also makes it way more accessible, because no matter what you prefer, you're gonna have a build or stuff that's really, really good. So I do think if someone were to finally give in to the hype, because I know there's probably a lot of hype right now around Monster Hunter, and give it a shot.
Heck yeah. Sammy, what about you, friend? What have you guys been playing? Or what have you been playing?
So I was kind of away from video games for a little bit, but last night, I ended up playing Lockdown Protocol.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have heard about that game.
No.
Oh
nothing.
my gosh. I have not had that much fun in a very long time. So it's essentially a first person Among Us.
Okay.
It has proximity voice chat. We have tasks. We have one dissent. So there's employees and dissent. We have to go and do tasks. And it is so funny.
Okay.
I don't even know how to describe it.
It's like Among Us?
It's Among Us. It's completely like Among Us.
Okay.
But we're all in these spacesuits, going about our business. There's like screwdrivers that you use to do tasks, but you can also hit people with it. You can, you pick things up and you hit them with them. I was really bad at killing people with things because they always got me first. So when I was the dissent, I would go and hide the things they needed for their tasks.
Oh, the saboteur.
Just sabotage them. So they'd be running around for like 6 minutes trying to find this package that I hid.
Oh my god.
That's perfect.
We should play it as a Destiny Digest
That would be fun.
offshoot. It is so
oh my god.
funny. Oh my gosh.
That would be a lot of fun. I was like, for a future charity block thing, we should like plan to do some like games or something like that together.
Yeah,
those kind of games work. Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun. There's been a lot of those like asymmetrical like party games that have come out recently. There was one the other night. I rated out to Chantal the other night, and there was one where she was like in a creepy house and like had to like take like anything that basically wasn't nailed down and just try to extract it before getting like hit by monsters and stuff. Like that sounded pretty fun. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it looked fun. Sepha, what about you? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask, are you able to play a clip on stream and I could
is that what it is? What Bloodman says? Repo?
Repo? It might be Repo. I did
hear about that game as well. I don't know, party games like that are on the rise because, like you said, it's a part of gaming that hasn't been around or as popular since, at least for me, was like Mario Party days.
Yeah.
So it is nice to see those kind of games coming back. I know they've been around for a little bit. Like they had what was the big one?
Jackbox.
Jackbox was huge.
Fall Guys, what I'm thinking of.
Fall Guys
was huge. Yeah.
So like outside of obviously Jackbox, but outside of that, like I've seen you're starting to see more of those come out because they're party games. They have a lot of people that can play, and they're cheap too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Especially when games are getting high. They're like a $10 game that no one cares about graphics because they just want to laugh for 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah, have you played Who's Your Daddy? Speaking of,
You know, that's been sitting on my library for 10 years. I haven't launched it yet.
I played it for a friend's birthday. Basically, like you're on 2 teams, and half the team are daddies, and half the team are babies. And the babies are like running around, like getting into stuff, and the daddy's job is to keep them from dying. So
Is
it's
that
like
what
the
that
baby,
is?
so the baby's job is to like try to die as fast as possible, so you can like jump in the pool and try to drown, or you can like eat toxic things. It's
That sounds like a
bad.
Newgrounds game. Like, do you guys
It
remember Newgrounds from high school?
This is crazy.
Like,
No.
oh my god. Yeah, Newgrounds was a pretty formative part of my high school education, in which and when I say high school education, I mean anything that we could do to get onto newgrounds.com and then play like Kitty in a blender or something like that. Like instead of doing any work
that kind of,
whatsoever.
like, dark
Yeah.
humor, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh boy, that just that unlocked.
I think
some
you would like it,
memories.
Dan. It makes for some really funny like scenarios. Like there's like a lawnmower, you can like ride it. You can get to the garage as a baby. You can like go on a joyride on the lawnmower.
Dude.
Oh my God. Guys, you know what we should play at some point?
What?
Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, sure.
I
Love cards.
okay. I don't like Cards Against Humanity. I
Really?
don't. Yes. Mainly because I feel I don't know. I like comedy.
I get it.
Like it's just kind of
I
play.
mean, to be fair, if
I'm
you have
way
a bad
too dark
group,
for that game.
not-
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you also have to be in the mood for that. I will grant you that. Cards Against Humanity. If you have a good group, everybody loves dark humor. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, we love it. We have like we play it in person, and we have like so many decks. Like,
Maybe
it.
it's just like the people that I've
has
played
to be
with.
with certain people.
Because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
people
you
that I
have
played with
certain
are
It
like
can ruin it. It'll ruin it if
Like-
you have the wrong person who takes it the wrong direction.
they do this
Right,
and like they
100%.
play the thing and then they're like, and then this. It's like, okay, all right, guys, like whatever. I can't-
No, yeah. We could
What
do
are
it
we
off
doing
stream
here?
just
What-
to kind of
what are
give
we
you
doing
like
here?
What are
yeah.
we doing?
Yeah. We could play it off stream once and see like if you like it with the group that we have, and then
Yeah.
then maybe do it on stream, because it is a mood. Like you
Yeah.
have to be. It's a whole thing, definitely.
To be fair, like I like Anthony Jeselnik. I think he's a great comedian, and like I'm not a prude by any means. It's just like when other people are trying to like get into that gear, it's just like okay, like
Everybody's humor is different though.
exactly.
You gotta like
Yeah, and then there's the mini
That's the
games
crazy
where
part.
like you're like the mini games are like if you have somebody who's kind of like more on the innocent side, like
Yeah.
try to give them like the filthiest cards to see if they know what they
Yeah.
are.
that's a good mini game. That's a good mini game.
So like whenever I'm playing, I'm always thinking like, am I trying to win or am I trying to make myself entertained?
Am I
Like,
trying to gross out?
exactly.
Am I trying to gross out this one person?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes a mini game is worth losing for.
Yeah, losing the game. You're like, I just want to have fun here. I don't.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
Seth, what about you, friend?
Video games, Diablo. Played a little bit of Destiny this week, but I've just been grinding Diablo. The season's been pretty good. It was March of the Goblin this week, but I will say Diablo, you kind of missed the mark on the March of the Goblin this season.
Mm.
It's not been as good as
Where all the loot
before.
goblins are running around, Seth?
Yeah, exactly. So the
Not
cool
as good,
thing
though?
is, no. So like the cool thing is they brought back some goblins from D3, like the gelatinous goblin and some of these like older goblins that were not in D4 before, but were in D3, and I think people have been kind of rallying for them to bring them back because they're fun goblins. And so that's cool, and those are going to be in the game forever now. They're like they've brought them in the game. Nice, love it. Great change, great idea. But the March of the Goblin itself, it's supposed to have like way more goblins in the world.
Yeah.
And the loot
Super
seems to be
looty.
like it's supposed to be super looty. You're supposed to have like great loots and so on and so forth. But to be fair, I've just been like, I don't know. I don't feel like there's a little bit more goblins, yes, but it's not insane. And the loot you get from them is not as good as it used to be. So I'm kind of like a little bit disappointed by that. So we'll see. Maybe it's just a one-time thing that there was some bugs in it, because this game is riddled with bugs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the season is good though. I've enjoyed the season. The reward for the seasonal track is interesting too. You get
It's
a crow pet at the end of it.
it's a bird, right? Like that's
It's
what I
a
heard.
bird, yeah. It's a
Okay.
crow or a raven. It's really worth it. I've enjoyed that a lot. Managed to unlock it and everything, so it's cool. But yeah, the seasonal activities so far this season, like the kind of like Destiny has like those events,
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been as good as it used to be, which is unfortunate. The season itself is good, so to win some, lose some. But yeah, other
Yeah.
than that, Destiny, some Nether. I've enjoyed the Nether, but I don't know. I haven't I haven't fallen in love with it like I loved Coil.
Mm-hmm.
So
What?
I will compare it to that because it's similar. It's not the same. I know it's not the
Mhm.
same, but it's similar. Yeah, just I haven't I haven't fallen in love with it as much as I love Coil.
Right.
I don't know why. Hard to
Yeah.
explain.
It's like runs of that can be pretty rote at a certain point. Like it's I know that there's like variety in the encounters for Nether, but yeah, once you've done it and you've seen the 3 like little bubbles for it,
Yeah, I think
you kind of
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's good, don't get me wrong. The
Yeah.
loot is good also. I mean, there comes a point where I actually get too much loot in it, so which is rare in Destiny. Now, is the loot itself great?
Right.
Remains to be seen for everybody. Like everybody's different.
Oh,
right?
it will be. On
But
Tuesday.
okay,
We'll get to
okay,
that later
fair.
though.
But I just
Sorry,
it,
my bad.
You're fine.
no,
Hint, hint.
But so far for me, like I don't know, like Coil was very repetitive. Like
Mhm.
it was extremely repetitive. But I could start a Coil run and kind of just not think about it. I could turn my brain off, just do the whole thing, and it was enjoyable anyway. And the rewards or the buffs were I think a little bit more straightforward, and I liked that a little bit better.
Mhm.
Like it was easier to decide the buffs you got and wanted. Whereas in this one, you get some that you can choose and others that you can't choose, and it's like a
Mhm.
bit random and so on and so forth. So it's not a bad activity. I like it. I just don't love it as much as I love Coil.
I've liked it as I've been like ranking up the it's not the tome, but like
the slab thing.
it's at the tablet, like in
Yeah.
Eris's apartment. And like as I've been leveling that up, and then you get the opportunity to have like when you pick up one of those like minor buffs, that it'll compound it up to like instead of 1 buff, it actually grants you 3 of that kind of buff, so you can kind of max it out on each run easier. That's made it more rewarding to grab those little things. But yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of hard to read exactly what you're picking up.
Yeah, that I think that's part of what I don't like about it. It's more like I cannot build a run. Like I cannot plan a run, or I cannot like and I know that's part of it. I know that's how they built it, and that's fair. But I can't do it as mindlessly as the other one, which I know some people don't like that, but sometimes I like activities that I can just turn my brain off and just do the thing type of thing. And this one is not quite there, which fair. It's just yeah.
Just not your type of thing.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't played it too much yet. Because I know that come Tuesday I'm going to be playing a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to burn myself out beforehand, but
Smart, Sammy.
from what I have seen, there's going to be a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from what I've seen, there is a lot going on in it. As far as like how to unlock certain loot, how to go about upgrading, what happens when you upgrade, how it interacts with your artifact. There's just a lot that I am confused on because I just haven't done it yet. I feel like the onboarding for it is worse than other seasonal activities.
100%.
There really isn't onboarding for it.
Yeah.
Would onboarding be the word?
No, and I think like that. I think that that's correct, Sammy. Onboarding is the correct like nomenclature there. I also think that like there's some things in there that are just straight up bugged. Like there's a quest that I've had where I need to do something with my Tome of Want. and I've done this on every character, and I've done a Tome of Want like to finish it out. I needed to do it like 3 times or something like that, and I've got 2 completions of the tome, and it will not go any further. And so like Oh,
Are you at
Tilly, I
level
think you're
10?
muted.
Are you at level 10 down? It's gonna unlock next week.
Oh, okay. That one is a
The slab is at level 10, and you're like, I cannot go further than level 10.
no, it's not that. It's like in this
Oh.
specific quest that I have. Let me see if I can
I
pull
think
it
it
up.
might be related to next week because I was talking to somebody recently, and they were like, yeah, my vendor rank for the slab is not resetting, even though he's been at 10 for like days now. And then he looked it up, and he was like, oh, it's gonna unlock next week.
No, this
I
is.
have heard there's quite a few progression breaking
Bugs.
bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tome of Want, a primer. Activate a ritual of desire with a legendary crumbling scripture. Using the Tome of Want, then complete an active ritual by powering it, consuming charges for additional rewards. So I've done the ritual activated, and then the ritual rewards, I'm at 2 out of 3. And I've just been stuck there since the first week that it showed up. So like I haven't been sweating it too much because I'm like, well, it like, and I've done it on each of my characters to try to like clean it up, but it just doesn't.
Yeah. It
Doesn't want to
work.
go. So I'm not too worried about it. I might like throw in a thing on BNet to just be like, hey, this is something that's happening to me. Like, is this a thing that happens to other people? I haven't seen that it show up as a known issue, like on the known issues list for it. So I also had the same thing happen with the last for the Drowning Labyrinth quest for the Catalyst. Like it just will not prompt the door to open. Like it does all the symbols, but it doesn't open the door, which I know can open because other friends have allowed me through. It's just weird.
Like Sammy said, I think there's a lot of bugs this season related to like, and it's unfortunate.
I did see somebody get hired on for QA this week.
Oh, let's go!
Like on I think on Blue Sky. So it was like, hey, good.
Let's go. We need
Please.
that.
We need some testers.
Please, we need you, man. We need you.
Yeah.
Our hopes and dreams rely on you. So yeah, that was something. I played a lot of Avowed this week.
How is that?
It's
I don't
fun,
know too
dude.
much about it.
It is Skyrim. It's Diet Skyrim is essentially what it is. It is.
I've heard that. Yep.
I shouldn't play it then.
Like I was talking about it the last time that we were all together. That like I finished Dragon Age Veilguard. It was fine.
Yes.
Not my favorite game ever. Whatever. But the like Avowed is the game that I wish Dragon Age Veilguard had been. And like I went into this cavern and I murdered this guy and I stole his flaming sword. And so now I'm rocking this flaming sword just running around. It's so good. It is so good. I got fungus all over my face. I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling good. It's a really fun game.
Just doesn't seem good. So
say what?
I've got fungus on my face.
I got fungus on my face. I'm running around with a flaming sword.
This guy with a flaming sword. Like
it's like, Annihilation meets Australia. It's a really fun time. And so yeah, I don't know.
It sounds amazing.
The time that I've spent with it, I've done a lot of side quests already. I don't think it's going to be one of those games that's like 80 hours. I think it's like maybe a 40 to 50 hour game top. But the story is really intriguing. I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying like, so you're an envoy for an emperor, and you go to this island, and you do like a couple of quests, and then as soon as you walk into the city, you get assassinated, and then you're brought back by a god, and you have to figure out who killed you and why. So it becomes like it's really fun. It's a really fun game. Another thing that I did this week was I made good for a thing that I said that I would do if we hit $6,000 for Game to Give, and I deleted my vault minus like 30 items.
That's crazy.
You only kept 30?
I kept 30 items, and it was mainly stuff from like Into the Light where I couldn't get the shiny version again, or if it was like an adept weapon, I did my best to hold on to those. But yeah. It was, and we did some far like before the Sunday before we had just run Templar checkpoints over and over again.
No.
And
Right.
so
Oh.
like I ended up keeping one of those.
One of
Yeah.
each or just one?
Just one. And then the rest, there were a couple there were a lot of times I was going to do the weapons first and then the armor. And then I got done with the weapons. I was like, you know what? Who needs armor? And I just started deleting armor like wantonly. Like if it was in the vault, it was just gone. And that might have been a mistake. I think I got rid of a lot of artifice armor.
No, you're just getting ready for Armor 3.0 early.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
Exactly.
I did post the amount. I posted the picture of my clean vault with like a clean plate, with me holding up a clean plate on Twitter, but I didn't give the context that it was for charity. I just just let it rip.
Oh no.
And the amount of
I
people
can
that
only
were
imagine.
the amount of people that were upset, like I was able to transfer
Like
them
you deleted
on, like
their
it was,
vault.
yeah, like I was going to be able to transfer the items that I had to them, like some sort of NFT.
What?
That was fun. Yeah, it was great.
Wait,
It was-
for real? That's what it was?
No. There were people who were just like, "This is rage bait," and I was like, "No, this is me making good on a thing." But okay, I mean, you don't know
you're
me,
just
so
following
it's,
up.
it's like whatever. And so
Why are people
Why
mad
would
about
they-
charity
I
stuff?
don't-
People are crazy.
People are mad at everything.
I didn't give context. I didn't give that context
Oh.
in that post.
Even
in
then,
previous
though,
posts, I
it's
had
not
done
the
that.
vault.
Was this on
So-
Twitter, Dan?
It was well, I posted it. So I've been a very
We
good
talked
boy.
about this,
We
Dan.
talked about this beforehand. I've been a very
Yes.
good boy, and I haven't been visiting Twitter except for like maybe once a week. But for the
pass.
most part, I just
But now you
just
were
use
a naughty boy.
I use Buffer.
One time.
I use Buffer and I post everything to Blue Sky and like everything at the same time. So I do not have to like look at anything on Twitter if I don't have to. If anything, I'm only posting links when it takes attention away from Twitter. Like hey, come and click on this Twitter link or Twitch link. Things along those lines. But yeah, it was like this one dude goes, "You're a part-time look at this part-time D2 player." And I was like, I don't know if that's a bad thing anymore.
That's not a bad thing.
Like I think I feel
thing.
pretty.
Bad thing.
Oh no, you have an actual life and a wonderful
Yeah,
relationship
right?
and an actual job. Oh no, you play the game part-time. Oh no, you don't know life because you have nothing else in your entire life going on.
I'm kind of into
you're
it.
so sad.
I'm kind of
Wow.
into
I think
it.
it's a compliment.
So what?
Honestly.
I
You
think it
play
is.
the game now, so I'm not good enough.
This guy has
Right,
a podcast
right.
called
I'm not
Destiny
good enough
Digest, and he
now?
has an empty vault. What is going on?
Yeah, seriously.
What is going
make
on?
it make sense.
What is going on?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's almost. Yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid stuff. It's just funny.
Stuff.
But yeah. So yeah, I need to rebuild my vault, I think. Maybe like just some weapon rolls here and there. I think most of it is like lessened by the ability to craft. And so that
Sure, you can
like,
just
yeah.
craft all the stuff. Well,
Yeah.
Dan, I hear there's a heretical arsenal is growing
Oh, you do.
in Act 2.
Yeah.
I hear that there could be some opportunities very soon for you to rebuild your missing arsenal.
You know what, Tidley? You're not wrong.
Oh my
You're
gosh!
not wrong.
Wow.
That's segue though.
What
That
kind of
segue
weapons
was
are
sick.
we gonna get?
That segue was sick. Good shit. Good shit. I'm proud of you, Tidley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming
Maybe
for
next
the
time I will
throne.
volunteer to host. So Sammy, the bow looks absolutely nuts.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Are you just
That
like
is-
frothing?
Oh, you have no
Yeah.
idea. Right now, I'm frothy. I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
He
Maybe
is,
that's the wrong word
he
for
is
it. but-
going for that. Like,
I think some people listen to this with their kids.
Mm, Not
So,
anymore. Headphones in only.
headphones only.
Sammy's getting frothy. Watch out.
Oh.
my God.
That is not going to be the name of this episode.
Word choice. Word choice.
All right. So last week we had the Heresy Act II developer live stream on Tuesday. They gave us a preview of things that are coming not only in Act 2, but also in Act 3, which that was like, we could get into it. So we're going to have the Court of Blades activity. The Echo of the Navigator was certainly impressed when he found out that you defeated him. So he wants you to test you in the Court of Blades. I can't read. The new activity coming with Heresy Act 2. Players will fight through arenas of enemies with escalating difficulty to compete for the mantle of the Taken King, using runes to uplift their playstyle and push through challenges. That sounds super neat. And another activity. Did that arouse anything in anybody?
Oh my god!
For the I'm not trying to. Okay.
Are you asking how frothy we are?
I'm not. Yeah. You know what? Yes, I am. Yeah. No. Anyways. No. But like a new seasonal activity, so like breaking up the monotony of like a tether or of a nether situation.
Tether. Yeah.
Like sounds good. Going back to like the Court of Oryx as the Court of Blades. For this kind of thing seems
it looks interesting.
Yeah.
I'm down to try it. I mean, my quibble with the Nether is that it feels kind of amorphous and not directed, and this activity sounds more like a structured kind of like coil or menagerie, or like the kind of, or like deep dives or whatever that one was. Like it sounds like more like the activities that I've enjoyed that they've put out. So
yeah.
I'm curious. I'll try it for sure.
It being 10 minutes, also, I would agree. It being 10 minutes makes me feel like the action you're going to be a part will be at least a bit more fast paced.
Yeah.
Which I think people will receive more than Nether. Like, I know Nether was something they were trying, and I personally don't think it was the best version that they wanted it to be. So I'm hopeful Court of Blades, at least, if I can only spend 10 minutes of Court of Blades, but it's live action packed stuff for 5-10 minutes, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks interesting for that.
It's a good game mode for if you're like on lunch or something like that, and you just want to play for 10 minutes and get some loot. Like that's what it feels like. We have the Heretical Arsenal growing. The 5 remaining weapons from the Heretical Arsenal will be waiting for you the moment you start playing Act 2. Sammy, strap in. There are plenty of interesting perks on these weapons, like sword logic on the strand glaive, or on a bow. We won't spoil the rest of them. Each can drop as adept weapons. If you're lucky, you can also find weapons with extra perks in each column and runneth over origin trait. Keep an eye out for fully masterwork drops of both weapons, of both versions of the weapon. Collect them all, aim for your favorite. Just be surprised when one drops. Or just be surprised when one drops. So the bow, Bloodman in chat said that they got one early because it was sometimes dropping in Act 1.
Yeah, it was a bug.
Have you had it drop for you yet, Sammy? Or
no, because I was prepping for the dungeon.
Gotcha.
By sleeping and
it was only dropping for players who play like in the first couple of days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
They found it. They passed it really quickly.
Passed it
so
quickly. Yeah.
You had to get that stuff like in the first 48 hours, I think. It was like day 1, day 2. So
yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, so do we know the perks that are coming on that bow? I wasn't able to watch all of them.
Some of them are redacted.
Okay.
Some of them are like the more usual ones you see on bows, really on all the weapons. But there's a couple
then
that
I won't
are
say
redacted.
anything about.
No, I mean it's if you know it.
I mean we're doing it anyway, so you're good.
So I want to go for 7 of 7 adept. It's gonna take a while, but I want to get repulsor brace with destabilizing, dragonfly, and then there's a new one that weakens, and I forget the name of it.
That is withering gaze. Yeah, that's
yes.
That was the only person. The only weapon they talked about was those. Really interesting.
Yeah, I want all 4 of those on my bow. I need it right now.
You can find the perks on D2 Foundry, by the way. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
you can find the
Mhm.
list. It's there. I
Okay,
just checked.
it's like the info's out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull
So
it up
if you
here.
want to look it up,
What's the name of it?
there's really interesting.
D2 Foundry.
Anamnesis. So ANAMNESIS.
I do
They
have
have to make
a
the bows
issue
so
with
hard
that
to
bow
say.
though. Hopefully, not the bow, but the perk
Anamnesis.
combo. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but repulsor brace and destabilizing don't work correctly this season together.
Mm.
And I really wish they would. I know why they don't allow it, but I wish they would fix it to make it work correctly. But repulsor
They
brace,
changed it.
repulsor brace doesn't proc off of volatile. It used
Oh,
to,
fine.
but it
It
does
did
not
last
proc.
season, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
No. So anytime you receive the overshield, you're receiving the overshield from repulsor brace strictly from the weapon kill, not from the chaining. If it was working, I only know this because of the machine gun from Volta Glass, because I went for that exact role, repulsor destabilizing, or something like that. I went for a couple weapons with that perk combo. That doesn't activate. I think it's because of coding, because of so many applications of volatile, the game can't check how many times it needs to activate repulsor brace. Otherwise, you'd have overshield 24/7.
Yeah, that would be so strong.
Yeah. So I get why
Oh
it's
my
probably not
goodness.
working correctly.
Yeah.
Because I had so many repulsor destabilizing rated for this season, and a lot of them don't work correctly. Like the velocity baton has repulsor brace destabilizing, and you would think, especially with all the volatile stuff on it, you would think it would trigger. And in my testing from contest mode, it only triggered once every 10 volatile explosions. And it might actually work like it's supposed to on the bow, because you're not going to get as many activations of volatile, nor will you get as many procs. So I'm hopeful.
It's working on Fortunate Star.
Is that a
That's the Solstice Void lightweight that rolls
bow?
with bow. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So that's probably why, because
stabilizing and repulsor.
yeah, so it has to probably be a bow. Anything that's going to activate pretty quickly, it probably doesn't work on. So that's what I was going to bring up as well. But since you said that it works on bows, that might be the only thing in the game currently that is probably a must-have. Yeah, because it doesn't work on SMGs right now. It doesn't work well if you have the artifact stuff as well. It doesn't work on machine guns. It doesn't work on grenade launchers, and it doesn't work on SMGs. Anything that you kind of want to spam and constantly trigger and constantly activate. But maybe the bow actually works correctly because you're not proccing it as many times. That's been my only issue about, like, every time someone says I want repulsor to stabilize it, and I'm like, oh, no, you don't.
Actually, I don't know whether or not it procs correctly, because I get an overshield so many different ways with my build. So now,
no, it depends,
I don't know.
because the hunter build I ran for contests relied off of overshields and relied off of volatile triggering every single time, and I had to take off the velocity baton with repulsor brace because it wouldn't trigger when I needed to. So I had to just take off other stuff, put back on my chest piece for overshield, and that triggered every single time. So I don't know. Just in my 12 hours of contest sundered, I was like, okay, well, my thought process for contest doesn't work because volatile is overriding the repulsor brace's kill. That's what I would love to see them do, but I do know that it probably won't do that.
I didn't realize they changed destabilizing to where you get volatile rounds.
As far as
I'm reading it right now. It used to be you didn't get volatile rounds. So
no, they changed that
destabilizing,
too.
defeating a target creates a void burst. Hitting other targets with this burst makes them volatile and grants you volatile rounds. I'm wondering whether or not it's the fact that you're killing with volatile rounds
Yes, you're
That's
killing.
messing it
It's
up.
triggering the volatile and is not granting. I also
Because
noticed they're not
when
working
you
on
kill
killing Tally
with
as well.
volatile, so the enemy doesn't become volatile if you hit it with the arrow first. So that's how it is for the volatile rounds. If you kill it, then because the second hit is going to be what's volatile.
Yeah.
This-
Okay.
So that might be why it's working different this season, because before, why it's not working with repulsor brace the same way.
That's just been my my PSA to every person that's come to me telling me that that's what they're going for, and I'm like, probably don't want to go. You're not going to reap the benefits you're thinking you're going to reap. Is all.
Yeah.
They're probably
but
not
maybe
rushing
with
to
the
fix
bow.
it though, right? Because it would be super strong if they did.
If they were to
Yeah.
make it work like it used
Yeah.
to, yes, you would have
Yeah.
an overshield 24/7.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably why they're not like rushing to change it. Yeah.
Star is what got me through Corrupted Puppeteer.
I believe it. Yeah.
That and the moth wings.
hmm
Or the
Heck yeah.
moth arms.
So we have some new artifact perks coming too. In
Do?
column 1, we have overload trace rifles. Uninterrupted fire from the equipped trace rifle causes the beam to stun combatants, delaying ability energy regeneration and exhausting them. Strong against overload champions. Exhausted targets deal reduced outgoing damage. In column 2, we have beam medic. Rapid trace rifle final blows heal you and nearby allies. Powerful combatants increase the amount. Elemental siphon in column 3. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super create an elemental pickup that matches your equipped super. Bonus or a boost for elemental pickups grant matching super energy when they are collected. Harsh refraction. Trace rifles do more damage to targets afflicted by elemental debuffs, matching their element type. And then for column 5, we have limit break, casting a super while you are critically wounded or have an elemental buff matching your super element grants a period of increased super damage. So this is like pretty much just aimed at warlocks at this point, right? like these will be strong on other classes, but it's primarily for warlocks.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think well, it depends. But thinking of when I read this, I instantly thought of hunters if beam medic works correctly. Because you're leaning into the volatile this season with all the other stuff. And there's a couple of really good void trace rifles that are exotic and not exotic. Specifically, what's the one that's the void one that makes the super frame, the super thing? There's a void trace rifle when you pick up an orb of power, you get like increased damage.
Are you talking about the exotic one?
Yeah, the exotic one.
What is
my
that
I can't think
called?
of the name of it.
I know what you're thinking. I know the one you're thinking of. Yeah.
But that one is already really good and has been every single time that we've had void season. And especially on Hunter, all the ways of triggering overshield and volatile and devour. If beam medic and harsh refraction work on it, I could instantly see that being a best in the slot for a lot of hunters who just want to blow everything up even more. Because the one downside of trace rifles has always been its damage, and that kind of solves it. And also the healing makes it even better for team-based activities.
Right. For Nether.
And also just healing yourself. I don't know if it'll work on Nether, because every other thing that could have worked in Nether, they've patched out.
That's true, yeah.
But I can see it working in Court of Blades, because anytime like stuff like this happens, I always look at the artifact and how is it going to work in the most recent whatever activity that they're putting out, especially whenever there's something with a high density of enemies. And a lot of builds sometimes suffer with keeping health up, and that's all we really care about. Can we put out a lot of damage while keeping our health up? This would help it. Also warlocks as well, but I just wanted to mention hunters. That's what I'm wanting to test Tuesday reset, is how this works with hunter stuff.
It's a Ruinous Effigy, Dan, right?
That's it.
No,
there's that
No,
one.
not that one.
There's another one.
There's a different one. Okay.
There's a different one. No
Indecision
one ever
Sean-
uses it.
Indecision Sean says Wave Splitter is about to be the first thing I try on
Wave
Tuesday.
Splitter.
Wave
yeah.
Splitter. Okay.
Wave Splitter. Yep.
Bloodman says Ager's Scepter is about to go crazy this season.
I
Ager's
love
Scepter.
Ager's.
Ah, yeah, that's
With
right.
renewal
Mhm.
grass.
With renewal. Oh.
Yeah.
And then where is it? Equips. What was it that you got super energy from?
Mantle Battle
Oh,
Harmony?
the boost. Elemental pickups grant matching. So the really powerful.
Oh, the boost. Yeah.
The really powerful Ager Scepter takes from your super damage, but if at the same time you are making stasis crystals or whatever the pickup is,
feeding in.
you're going to keep feeding in to do stronger and stronger and stronger, more and more damage because you're constantly getting super energy. And that's the thing with Ager Scepter is that kind of that give and take, it's like, oh, well, you won't get your super. So that perk or whatever on it, I don't know the name of it, is going to automatically be incredibly strong. So I'm excited about that because you can it's going to break it. It's totally going to break it. And then if you use renewal grasp with it too, it's just, you're going to be invincible. It's going to be awesome.
Somebody in my chat, we were doing a Salvation's Edge earlier today, and somebody in my chat was like, Microcosm's going to be really great. And then Bloodman.
That's
here
the
in
one
chat
they
is
mentioned.
saying that
Yeah.
too.
That's the one trace driver they talked about, Microcosm.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
Be really fun. There's also the new one from the dungeon, and then
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
dude, Unwound. Is that
we talked about
Unwound?
before. Unsworn.
Unsworn. There we go.
There's some really good trace rifles though.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
I'm interested in Limit Break because I watched it, but I don't remember them saying what the percentage of increased super damage was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did anyone catch that? I don't know if anyone knows.
I didn't.
I'm
catch it. I
assuming
haven't
they
been able to
didn't
watch
say
all
a
of it.
percentage, but I'm curious. Like, I guess I'm thinking of the Arc one where like you did with T Crash, where everyone like weakened themselves in T Crash,
Mhm.
because that was 50%, which was huge. But I'm curious if I'm hoping Limit Break is the same amount. It might not be because of how easy it is to activate, but so was that one.
But you can also do it with an elemental buff too, so you don't have to do. But I think it'd be interesting to see like if it stacks, like if it stacks with other stuff.
Yeah,
That
that's
could
what I'm
be
saying.
really
Like
good,
because
yeah.
of how easy you'll be, how easy it'll be to activate just
Mhm.
from an elemental
Elemental buff would be
verb.
pretty easy. Yeah.
Would it only? I'm hoping it's like 50%, but maybe it won't be as high. Maybe I guess even 10% still something. 10%, 15% because of how easy you can activate it. Because who's not going to go into a golden gun with restoration? Who's not going to go right now with a T Crash with amplified?
Right.
It's like always on.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in that because you can change the super to like your weapon damage stuff, especially with Microcosm. I'm really excited. I'm trying to also keep my expectations not low, but like medium. Because I don't want to expect like a 50% increase and it'd be like 10. Like, okay, I was hoping it was this. I was hoping it was going to be game breaking. But it's just a little bit of bump. Not too much. In the past, I have a history of like reading the artifact and instantly letting my brain go to
this is the
the
build. This is what we're gonna do.
This. Yeah. So
get it. Well, I'm sure we'll find some way to break the game with a new artifact. And I'm hoping they push stuff in that's really strong because that's always fun. The artifact is a great way for them to rotate through things that are slightly game breaking, and that knowing players that there's finite, they're gonna take them out like quickly. So I hope Limit Break is.
I feel like the Limit Break stuff may not happen until Act 3 though.
Yeah.
When we get the rocket stuff too.
I mean,
I think it's supposed to come.
I think it's
Act
on
2.
Yeah,
I think
Act 2, right? Yeah.
I think we're getting it Tuesday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Are they giving us Act 2 and Act 3's columns?
I don't know.
I know.
No. Like I think Act 3's columns will be like because they normally do 5 and 5, right?
Yeah, but they but I was saying they had already announced the Act 2 column and Act 3. They had already announced that in the dev posting. Like they already told us that we're in Act 2, we're focusing on traces and stuff. In Act 3, we're focusing on rockets. So like all the other stuff is
What
gonna
about
be with
the
rockets.
bows?
Sammy.
That's Apollo. Apollo is
Actually,
bows
no.
only.
I hope they don't ever focus on bows.
You don't miss anti-barrier bow.
Well,
I
I
do.
Maybe bow is
I
great.
miss it. Champ mods for
do,
bows. We
man.
haven't had one in a while. But I mean, if they did anything to like boost damage, or if they do anything like these, but for bows, I want them to do very little with bows to feature them and focus on them because there's less of a chance they will ruin them.
They'll change what you love about them so much.
What I want them to do to bows would probably ruin them because I want them to take the artifact and like make it. I've always, not always, but the last couple of years, I've wanted them to like make it to where you can have like a way to create multiple bows from one shot. And I know that would. I know Sammy's like this. That's a terrible idea. Absolutely terrible. I'm like, let me pick up an orb of power, then all of a sudden, notch 1, notch 2, notch 3, notch 4.
Like Hanzo in Overwatch with the
Yes.
the
I
ability.
was gonna say
okay,
Robin Hood
Bows
men in
give
tights.
you that.
Mm-mm.
Some bows
What
give you
about
that,
this?
kind of.
Where it's an exotic heavy crossbow, right?
But that too.
Crossbow.
And
Okay.
because it's exotic, it's essentially a little lesser damage, but you get 3 shots in a row. So
Cool with that.
you can essentially just do a 3 burst, whatever, and it does the damage of 3 just with a little bit of a decrease of the damage to make up for it. Yeah.
I just want a bigger version of Barry Bloodline, but I hold it like Van Helsing. That's what I want. That's all I've been wanting.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go double sidearm. Like
That too.
You're not
I wonder
alone.
if they
I know
won't do that.
multiple people who want
They
that.
don't want to
Just
do
a
that
Kim-
because they're
A
Bungie.
chimbo.
No,
Yeah.
they're known for Bungie is known for the duel from like Needler from Halo and stuff. And I've
Yeah.
I wonder if they've never done that because they
They're
don't
like-
want to lean into that.
Interesting.
But they should.
They definitely should.
Easy community points right there, Bungie. Just bring the
the
Needler to
dual
this game.
fielding. It'd be so crazy.
So yeah, looking ahead. So we have a quick look at what's coming in Act 3, including new rewards, a new event, Reprise Strike, and a new hectic PvP mode centered around 2 beloved vehicles. So Ride of the Nine,
Oh my god,
Ride of the
Yes.
Nine is a free event for all players coming in Act 3 of Heresy. No matter if you're a new player or a veteran, everyone will have a chance to experience a new twist on 3 classic dungeons: Prophecy, Spire of the Watcher, and Ghost of the Deep. Players will have a chance to jump into the new Learn As You Go Explorer mode, and those brave enough can ramp up the difficulty in the new Ultimatum mode. Take on the 3 levels of challenge to earn new rewards, like some very strong, very 9-themed rewards or weapons. That sounded cool as hell to me. I always love it when they open things up past the keys, like the paid keys for people who haven't been able to experience these
Yeah.
dungeons.
They're also getting rid of dungeon keys. I need to like that is huge.
Yeah.
Like so good about that.
Yeah. So the 3 dungeons that they chose, Prophecy, Spire of the Watcher, and Ghost of the Deep, like I appreciate like Prophecy, that one's just kind of like baby's first dungeon in a way. Like it's fun to
They
hop
should have
into.
started with Shattered Throne personally, but
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
love
Shattered
Prophecy
is kind
more.
of BB's first dungeon to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Prophecy is Nine's team, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of why
That is true.
It feeds
yeah.
into the kind of the
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
nine
exactly.
stuff. That makes sense. Yeah.
Prophecy is good. It's just the only one that I really am unhappy about
Is Ghost?
Ghost.
Is it Ghost of the Deep?
Yeah.
You
I
don't
think
want to
that we
do
all-
it. Ultimatum
is.
Ghost. Let's go.
I'll do it because
I'm
I want
so
the freaking
excited.
emblems and stuff. But
Yeah.
holy crap! Here's the thing. Here's my biggest issue with Ghost, and I think that's most people's biggest issue with Ghost. It's the traversals.
Well,
Mm.
the
No,
traversals
my-
and the health
not my
pools. The
issue.
health pools on the enemies.
Well,
It's the
health
shields.
I
It's
can
the
It
do
depends
shields.
all of it. No, like you got to think of it in the
Yeah,
sense of
but-
like Ultimatum. Well, in the Ultimatum version, obviously it's going to be the contest version, but they also
Mhm.
talk about which is interesting. The 3
Might be driving
levels
epic
are
now.
literally a system to introduce you to all that stuff before moving on to the next version,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is
but
huge. Let's be honest. Like, I don't want to call it baby's first dungeon. You're literally getting baby steps on. This is how you do the dungeon.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
now do the dungeon with
great.
this version
Ramp it
and
up.
that.
Get better
I
at it.
love that. I love that. I love this whole idea of like do explorer mode, get to know
Mm-hmm.
the dungeon, kind of get around to it, like kind of just literally explore it,
Mhm.
explore the dungeon, explore how it works, and so on and so forth.
5-second revives.
Oh, dude, that's
5-second
amazing.
revives.
Love
Oh,
it.
That's
okay.
huge.
That
No,
would
not
make
the
it so much
zones.
better.
That
Like
too.
the 40-second revives on the traversals with your teammates.
Yeah.
That's
They're
terrible.
awful, especially in Ghost,
I'm
because
like,
you cannot
that
even
is
go
so
back
punishing.
because you're gonna
That's
die
so
yourself
punishing.
if you go back. Anyway,
I don't
two
hate the
things.
ghost traversals. I feel like
I
don't.
I feel like they made an effort to try something new with the underwater stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like people complained about the opening being too long also, but that
Yeah.
doesn't bother me. I think for me, it's just like the boss
I hate the
encounter feels
openings.
so long, like with all the
opening is
shields and
annoying. Yeah, well, I agree with
It's
that.
because you have to do it
Feels
4
long.
times versus 3 when the game is used to
Yeah.
doing a skill check 3 times. So doing
Right.
4 is what at
Because,
least from what I've talked to, most
is
people
that
feel like
why it feels
3 would have
too
been.
So
long?
with
Yeah.
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 Well, if you think about most encounters,
Yeah.
most skill checks are like, can you do it once? Okay, let's make sure you can do it. Okay, 3rd
Mhm.
time and you're out. Whereas historically, it's been always 3. Ghost breaks that.
Well,
And there's no reason you technically need to do 4 outside of the game just making you do 4.
what was it? There was
Yeah, I don't-
there was
It's a
that one raid that made you
slog doing
do.
it solo.
There's that one raid that made you do the opening several times. I only ran it like maybe 3 times. So what?
Crown made you do that.
Crown, yeah.
Crown
It was like you had to
yes,
do it like
but-
7 times or something like that.
No, you didn't have to.
No, you have to do it 3
was
times.
4.
Okay.
Yeah. Crown wasn't.
It
Crown
was
is
4.
Well, it was
too.
technically it was 4.
Oh well.
But the difference
But-
in Crown was you had player. You kind of do in Ghost, but you have player agency because the faster you kill the ads,
Yes.
the
yes.
fewer waves
Yeah,
spawned.
exactly.
You could
quicker
speed
you
up the
moved
crown
on.
opening.
Yes.
Like it was
Mm.
like
Exactly.
people complain about it a lot, but then
Ghost,
like,
you really can't
yeah,
speed up.
you can't
Yeah.
speed it up.
Because
It's
I
not
remember
like you
when in
can kill
Crown,
and do 2 sets. Like if you could do, like say the right side and left side at the same time,
yeah,
maybe.
it would
but-
be quicker. Because you could do that in Crown. I remember I ran with Mitch often in like CG, and like this is why for me when people are like the opening of Crown was so long, I'm like it wasn't. Like it was longer than most. 100%.
It was for the time
But-
being. I will say that.
Yeah, I remember. But
During
I
that
remember
time,
running.
it was
If you
bad.
had a team that knew what they were doing and were like basic efficiency,
hmm
no, it was quick. Like you could do it fairly quick. But yeah, like Ghost, there's just so many things in Ghost. It's not like just like one thing that makes it kind of this is really annoying.
Kind of
There's like
fiddly.
multiple parts. Yeah, there's multiple parts of the dungeon that's just like it's not it. If it was just the first encounter, that would be fine. If it was just the traversals, that would be fine. If it was just the boss shields, that would be fine. But it's the first encounter takes forever. The traversals are very long and they're punishing. The boss is like a 4-time check. Like it's all of that. It just compounds together, and to me, it makes it like one of my. I think it's my least favorite dungeon ever. I really dislike that dungeon compared to
Wow.
like other ones. 100%.
Duality is right there. What do you mean?
Which one? Which one?
Duality.
No, I actually
like
don't care about
duality.
duality. I actually like duality. Yeah, I actually really
What-
like it.
I find so funny about these conversations.
Bloodshot red. Please get out of my face.
People will ask me, "Okay, what's your favorite dungeon out of all these?
Yeah.
What do you find easiest?" All these different things, and I play very, very different than most
Sure.
people.
Oh,
Mhm.
100%. That's for
So
sure.
I have to take that into consideration. So what you guys might think is bad or annoying, I'm like, well, there's things that are worse.
Oh, no, I agree.
Trust me on that. But that's because they're worse for me and my
As a
play
solo
style and
player,
how I'm playing
yeah.
it.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I find it always very interesting
To see
to
that
hear
other
like you guys
perspective.
talking about it and things like that because some things that you guys might find are really annoying.
I can say the
Really,
location of duality
Mhm.
visually.
Oh,
That's
I
it.
love it. Duality is one of my
like
favorites.
I love that
I
dungeon.
hate
Yeah.
the first encounter of the new dungeon. It is by far
Oh,
out of all
Sundered?
30 encounters. Yeah. Out of all 30 encounters, it is my least.
Mm.
I hate it. But here's the reason why is simply because I love the concept of it. I
Mhm.
love
Mhm.
the rooms. There's a lot that I love about it. But what I hate is how it plays.
Mm.
That is what I absolutely hate. And a lot of people are like, well, it's not that big of a deal. It's the interactions, the interact prompts overlap. It's
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
along
yeah, yeah. Where like the
Mhm.
place and
Place.
the
time,
rotate.
Mhm.
I get that.
the
That's kind of
rotate,
frustrating.
all of the enemies are constantly pulling you back and forth while
Mhm.
you're just trying to interact.
There's
But
a
then
lot
I
of
think
CC, but for the enemy types, yeah, there's the freezing CC and then the strand CC also.
Mhm.
So
Which
I get it.
is okay. You don't notice it as much if you're in a team. You
Mhm.
can do it pretty fast. You can ignore it.
Yeah.
But if you're solo and then if you're taking forever with bows and such, it's things that are just unnecessary. I don't understand if it's a design choice as far as having to rotate, picking up the shield. So I timed it. It's 3.5 seconds to actually rotate one of those lens holders.
Mm.
It is you have to hold it for over 3 seconds to pick up a shield. So I'm playing without HUD, right? Or even just
Mhm.
in first
Ooh, yeah.
person. I don't know whether or not I have a shield on my back because it's taking so long to pick it up.
Oh yeah, I see.
Mm.
So I hate it simply because of how it plays.
Right.
Otherwise, I absolutely love the encounter. It was one of my favorite ones when I first started it
Right.
until it started taking a million years.
Yeah.
That
Understandable.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
start repeating it.
Yeah.
But I know people that absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Seeing all my solo flawlesses, I've never done it without a HUD. So like all of my issues in my runs for the first encounter doesn't take that part into consideration. And that could definitely make it harder.
It wouldn't be an issue. It wouldn't be an issue whatsoever, and it shouldn't be an issue whatsoever, except for the prompts. How
Mm.
long it
Yeah.
takes.
That and overlapping would probably be very
And
annoying.
the overlapping.
Oh yeah,
Especially because of no HUD, you wouldn't know which one. Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't
the
see whether or
overlapping is
not
yeah.
it says
Yeah.
rotate
You're
or
placing or rotating. That could be really
Yeah.
frustrating without a HUD. See that.
that's an issue even if you had HUD. You just
Yeah.
don't notice
Yeah,
it much.
you don't notice
Yeah.
it when because you're just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna just stand near it until it says the correct thing and
Yeah.
then
Right.
I can
Right
interact
thing,
with
yeah, the
it.
one-
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's not. It wasn't that bad for all of my runs, but again, I knew there was the issues. I would just like look up, look down, look up. Oh,
Mhm.
didn't
You're like,
say the
oh,
right
we're
one.
in the
Like,
right place.
okay,
Are you
So-
happy now? Can I place it now?
yeah, can I do the thing I need to do? I would be more annoyed with that encounter personally if there was a timer.
Mhm.
Like if they had kept the contest timer,
Oh, timer is
even
really
if they made the
good.
timer like longer, like obviously
Yeah.
the timer was really short in contest, but if they made the timer
I'm so glad there's not.
2 minutes longer,
I'm so glad
maybe
there's not a
it's
timer.
It was
only way
really
I was able to
fun,
do all the
though.
runs because of the timer
I wouldn't be
and
able to
the
do it with
lore.
a timer.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
So fun. I liked it.
Um.
It just
But-
it feels like a lot like less stressful without the timer, but almost
Yeah,
like it almost
It's-
takes
it's
the
too
challenge
chill.
out of it.
It's too chill.
Yeah, it takes the
Yeah.
challenge out of the first one. Like it was
I
so
think they should have a timer on the lenses. If the prompts weren't as long and they didn't overlap.
Oh,
Mm.
that
if
would
you
be
picked it up a
interesting.
lens and then so you could take as long as you want, but you would
But
have to
you only
know
have so much time with
where
the
your
lens.
lens is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting because a lot of my runs, I do a lot because there's no timer. I cheat. And I do a lot of the
Cheat.
lens placing for all 3 cycles beforehand.
Before you activate it?
Yeah.
So you're just like, I'm gonna just do all 3.
So like
it's all
there's a
prepped,
lot
ready
of
to go.
probability, obviously, and I will make a lens route in each room instantly before I even do the first one.
Right.
And even if I don't need it for that cycle, I will need it sooner or later. So it gets it's very boring for the first 5 minutes because I'm just killing guys, planting lenses.
You're just putting lenses together
everywhere.
You're just tracking down as many.
Because I know I'm sooner or later going to
Yeah.
need one here, need one there, need one there.
Oh,
and
that's
need
Yeah,
one
right.
there.
makes sense. So you know all the
that would
two lens
that would
routes
instantly
and-
remove it. Yeah, but I will do the 2 easy ones, and then I'll do the 3 easy ones, and then I will go start killing. It is a terrible strat. I don't recommend it.
I don't think it is.
But I
get
love doing it.
one
It's
and
so boring.
If I get a lens and I pick it up, so if I go into a room, usually I will just kill it anyways, and then just hold it on my back because even if it's not the room to start in, because then I have it. But then it's like, okay, if I'm in that little hallway fighting off the husks, and I think I don't know that something's gonna be kind of in the swamp one, RL1. I don't know. I call it swamp. I have swamp.
Oh, L1. L1 is on the
swamp,
left hand
yeah.
side. Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
more
it's
swampy than
swamp.
the others.
And temple and dragon and tomb. Those are mine. But in swamp, you know how there's like one in the hallway. Well, if you're getting ambushed by the husks, as soon as you get past that first hallway lens holder, the dread spawn again back in the room. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and place it there and then just go back. So I get what you're saying, Dan. It's like if you have it and it's just convenient,
You
go
might as
ahead
well.
and you
I
might
also
as well.
found it for like even when I was teaching people, I just found it easier because at least doing it that way made you actually have more predictability in what enemies spawned. Since certain enemies only spawn when the subjugator is there, or when a lens is about to spawn, or when a lens is reset in that room. It's a terrible strat and you shouldn't teach it, but it makes a lot of those issues I found non-existent because the last thing you want to do is be needing to rotate and activating a light while getting pulled and yanked.
Right.
And a lot of my runs I found that was like, at least for me, I don't know if no HUD makes this even worse. I should probably actually put myself in Stanley's shoes one day and do a no HUD run of that just to really, really see.
Yeah,
Would you like to do a duo
annoyances.
no HUD? Would you
I
like
have no
to?
problem with that. No, I have no problem with that.
Cool.
I just never. Once I do my solo flosses, I just never go back and do extra runs of stuff unless there's a charity reason or like a challenge. I do my solo floss and then I just move on.
Here's a hint for you guys. If you're ever doing master on it, most people don't because they're not crazy. But
solo master or normal? Because I actually enjoy the solo, the normal. I can't do
master in general. There's an unstop in there. The unstop
yes, there is.
is always in the room that you have to bring or that has one of the symbols on the wheel.
Oh, interesting.
So on the first round,
it shows up with the bat, right?
Yeah.
No.
No. So you don't need to find where the bat is, even if you don't even need to go through all the rooms to find it. You just have to know, okay, the ogre's in there. However, if it's like the second round, it's going to be in a room where the wheel is, but it might be in the second one. So don't just assume. But you know that, okay, I'm going to set up all of the lenses to go to that room because I am going to need it for that phase.
Interesting. I've done master, but I didn't really notice it because
yeah, I've died.
Maybe because someone else.
How many times?
Yeah, someone else probably found the
solo
unstop.
master.
That's interesting. I should run it again to notice that.
I want us to circle back around to the Rite of the Nines. No, it's all good. This is a good conversation.
We were talking about ghosts, and you know how ghosts takes us down
yeah.
like
Like, you want to talk about
So-
anything other than ghosts? Like I understand.
Yeah, let's gloss over that.
I will say
Yeah.
to bring it back, it's funny.
Hey, can I say
Thank
one
you,
thing about
Bungie, for
ghosts, though?
listening to Tilly and I.
Yes,
I'm
thank
sure
you for
they-
listening to me and
They were
Dan.
probably already doing it anyway.
Wow.
And
It wasn't
you know,
Definitely not
guys.
turning it
Thanks.
over in
Definitely
like
not.
2 weeks or whatever.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I was not in that conversation at all. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
But Epic Dan, I'm definitely gonna be bribing you for a Master Go.
Listen,
Ultimatum
I
Ghost
love
whatever it's called.
contest stuff. So, like I said,
I know.
it's the one thing next to like day one raids that gives me hyped for this game still after 20,000 hours. The only reason I still play is for like contest day and day one raids. So I even though I have issues with Ghost, I will sit in there for 24
Can I
hours help
say
people get
one
Ghost
thing
and
about
stuff.
Ghosts, though?
So go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead,
We're gonna
Okay.
play it.
For Right
Yeah.
of the Nine for Ghosts, you know how when they went in for Pantheon, they
Mhm.
had to alter some of the encounters. They added timers
Yes.
for
Yeah.
some of the they
Yeah.
changed
They'll
it.
probably do that.
So
Yeah.
Ugh, no.
I am wondering, since they know shields are a big freaking deal, if they will go in and alter the shield some.
I hope
They would
so.
have to for not
I
swap.
hope so.
They would have to.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my hope, not just if they do it there, then maybe it will affect the version we have. So
I
my
don't
hope
know.
is that it being in
Mm.
Right of the Nine,
Oh,
it may affect
the regular
the
version.
regular
Or they
version.
just put out a patch to just fix
Yeah.
both. Or not fix, but
Yeah,
like change
maybe.
both.
Yeah.
So
Because
that is my only hope of why it's in there is because they will have to acknowledge the shields. They
Mm.
probably already have the feedback. It would give
I'm
them
sure.
a reason
So.
to touch it again.
Yeah,
Right.
they're pretty consistent feedback.
I
on the
hope
shields.
so, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because I remember for Pantheon, for Rogue had like a bug specifically in
Mm.
Pantheon that did not exist in the regular version, right?
That is also true. Yeah.
So I
don't know.
don't know. But I hope so because compared to Pantheon, this one also it affects the whole dungeon because you have like the Explorer mode, you have the regular mode, and
Exactly.
the Eternity mode, and then the Ultimatum. So I'm hoping you're right. I 100% want you to be right on that one. I really hope you're right.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
But isn't
Really
the
lovely if it
the
was.
contest one for the Pantheon
Ultimatum.
version of Dungeon is only Ultimatum? So that could be
Yeah.
a different version, which more than likely the I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
it's
There's
gonna
probably
be
a lot of stuff they got
They
to
have
do
to
to make
go
that
in
change.
and add prompts and stuff for the beginner
Yeah.
mode, the
Mhm.
Explorer.
yeah,
they're
they have to do a
adding
lot of
more.
work.
So they're going in and actually like adjusting the code in it.
It's like a
to make
root
these-
root down kind
Yeah, I'm hoping you're right. That would be lovely. It'd be lovely if they did.
Oh,
but
trust
we'll
me.
see.
of
Yeah, no.
with the ultimatum modes with we will be seeing 4 weapons from each of the featured dungeons getting revamped with a new gravity well
That's
perk
nice.
that will drop on all weapons in the Right of the Nine. And then each of the event weapons have a new visual treatment with 9 iconography.
And they're
It's really pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah, are you guys like
They're really
excited
pretty. Yeah.
for those?
I am.
I am.
Yeah. I don't really care. I didn't care for the weapons when they first came out, with the
Mhm.
exception of Cold Comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
this is their chance
Okay.
of making, especially Spire. This is their chance to make them like worth using.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Tyler
yeah.
says that there's
Out.
8 weapons. Excuse me. My apologies.
Hear me out, guys. So I don't know if you guys have heard. I don't know if it's a rumor or not.
Mm.
I've heard a lot, so I don't
Say
know.
it.
Say it.
It has
Say
to
it.
do with shaders.
Oh,
They're changing shaders again?
No, another one's coming back.
There's one that's coming out. It's redacted. It was in the API.
Redacted.
It's no longer in the API. You can't find it on Braytech.
Hmm.
It just says it's under activities.
I'm gonna say it
it's a
hasn't
whole
actually
section.
been legally announced yet.
So, just saying, people might think that it is a taken shader
mm.
that we're getting,
Well,
but
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we are not getting a shader that looks somewhat like the new
old Nine
animated effect on the Right of the Nine weapons.
Mm. Oh.
That'd be cool.
Because they both have a
Oh.
different effect that is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty.
So
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether or not that one maybe shader might have to do with Rite of the Nine, because it would be so cool to have a shader that looks like that animated, like, beautiful.
Yeah, like
I
an
wish they would bring
effervescent
back also.
kind of look.
Yeah.
I wish they would also bring back the old Trial of the Nines one. The old
The old
shaders.
shader?
You know the old one
Yeah.
from like the very beginning of D2. I think that'd be a great idea to bring them back, or a great
Mhm.
time to bring them
That
back
big
too,
hot
right?
take that
I
everyone's
know
got
it's a
about
hot
it.
take because the freaking, PvP players are like,
That I'm a even say it
Exclusive.
here. That trials, I was there. That Trials of the Nine armor is not good enough to gatekeep. I know everyone
no,
talks
no, no,
about
no,
it.
no.
Like, yeah,
Well, okay.
not good enough.
No,
I'm
not that.
sorry. Everyone talks about how they don't bring that
I'm not-
stuff back. You had to be there. What if
The
I wasn't alive
shaders,
there?
Oh
though.
my
Come on.
god. No,
What
no,
if
but
I
like,
wasn't
shaders.
alive
I want
then?
the shaders. Like the armor is one thing.
Oh, I don't like the armor. Yeah.
I'm quote unquote whatever on the armor. It'd be cool, but I'll let it go. But man, give me the shaders, please.
Hold on.
The shaders.
Hold
Let's
on.
be honest. The
Hold
shaders.
on.
Come on, man.
Dan just said the wildest thing. He's like, "What if I wasn't alive then?" I'm picturing like a 9-year-old just
You'd
jumping
be like,
into
I'm
his
9.
chat.
I
wasn't even alive.
I wasn't even born.
I wasn't even born yet.
Trials of the Nine.
Oh my god.
I was playing Trials of the Nine in
controller back then.
2017. So there could be
No,
a
but I
7,
agree.
8-year-old playing this game who was like,
Yeah.
I want to get this. Oh, I'm
No, but-
sorry, I was born here.
Like,
Oh.
well, that, but also like they brought back the Iron Banner old armor ornaments.
Mm.
They brought back the old Iron Banner shaders. They brought back the old like season 4 Crucible shaders, like Devils in the Detail, and then a Crucible Solemnity. I finally managed to get my hand on them because they brought them, I guess, like random drops after you finish a match. Why the hell can we not get that too for people that were not back then, were not like able to play or whatever back then? And like I think that
It's a weird hill to die on for me because anytime we
agree.
talk about old content, and I will be one of the people, I've never not played Destiny. I've been playing for 11 years now. So I've seen every item come and go.
Yeah.
Certain stuff, cool, I get it, whatever. The game changes. But shaders and armor like this is not the hill you need to die on. And that goes for any content creator that puts their entire life behind, no, this shouldn't come back. I don't agree. Because at this point, there's too many people who have come into the game before that have left. There's too many people that have come to the game in the last couple years.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that we're not gatekeeping the right stuff if we're being honest. It's not like Trials of the Nine is an available activity
Right.
for someone to play currently. If it was a current activity, maybe you can talk about FOMO and stuff like that. But like, this hasn't been in the game for 6 years, six
Right.
and a half years now. Even a veteran probably doesn't even know about Trials of the Nine. So like, they never had the opportunity to earn this stuff in game.
Right.
So like, I'm 100% as a 11-year veteran, I am 100% behind them bringing that stuff back, and I want to go on the record because it's a weird thing for people to constantly gatekeep. It's not the right gatekeeping the game needs to have anyway,
Right.
and it just alienates a
Here's
big
an
part of the
example.
community, which is just weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's an example of it. So when I first heard we were getting a lightweight bow for this episode way long ago, I'm like, that better be a lightweight strand bow because we only have one strand bow and it's precision.
Mm.
And
really,
here
only
we
one?
get-
Yeah.
yeah,
Warlord.
one.
Really, just a
strand
warlord
bow.
one?
Just
Yeah, I
just-
believe
and
so, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not upset.
Well, there's the
about it.
exotic, but it doesn't count. It's an
Yeah.
exotic.
But so I'm like, once we learned eventually that it was void, I was just like, we don't need another void
don't need
bow.
another void.
We
No.
don't need another lightweight. That's a light element for the energy slot. We just don't need it. But then I realized, okay, I'm using Fortunate Star here, which is a lightweight void bow that has destabilizing and repulsor. fan freaking tastic bow. But then the only way that I got it was when I farmed through Solstice.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that they brought it back only because now more people get the chance to use it.
Right.
So if I was like, oh, we already have one, you had to be there. Like
we have a
See,
void boat at home.
Yeah.
Okay with Solstice because Solstice comes
I
back.
already have this
too,
bow.
so.
We're like, hey, did you know that you can get repulsor brace and destabilizing? I'm like, yeah, I already have a bow like that. But the majority of people don't.
Yeah.
Right, because there's limited
Mhm.
time event for
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. But at least Solstice like comes around
Yeah.
every year,
Mhm.
you know. So like
Yeah.
if somebody wanted to like gatekeep that, it's not this. At least I don't look at it the same because at least that person knows. Okay, if I just wait 3 or 4
Yeah.
months,
Mhm.
it'll be in that timed
To be
event.
available. Yeah.
Right.
This Trials of the Nine stuff, unless you've been playing for 7 years,
Yeah.
at this point,
And even then,
Yeah.
like, did you play Trials back when Trials of the Nine was in D2? I
no.
didn't. I got one of the
Most
cheaters
people
because it was
played,
available. Yeah, I got it because my clan played, right? And there was a time where like
Oh,
some
you got
cheaters
that's
were
right.
clan
available.
rewards?
Yeah, that's
Oh my
right.
God.
Yeah.
Dude,
I did.
Dude, the amount of I remember the amount of
Ugh.
elitism over like, oh, did you actually
I
earn it?
got-
Like that kind of
Yeah.
crap was
Yep.
Insane,
so
man.
prevalent in the
That's how I got it in my clan.
Insane.
I got them the raid rewards. I had like
Yeah.
5 people in my clan never
That
raided with.
raided.
And all they did was they did the Trials of the Nine stuff every week for me, and I
Yeah.
did the raid stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
how it
Oh,
should
yeah,
be,
there you
though.
go.
Mutually
Exchange.
beneficial.
Yeah,
That's how the
exchange.
system was supposed to work.
Have some PvPers,
Yeah.
have some PvEers,
and
you
I
know?
never did Trials of the Nine. I
Yeah.
just did
Yeah,
the
it's
clan
great.
stuff.
The amount of elitism online though,
Mhm.
like when that
That's
crap came on.
crazy,
Oh my
man.
god, dude.
Crazy.
Moving on from the look
Yes.
ahead, we have the Sunless Cell reprise, which a couple weeks back I was saying that there was like when we were looking at the future GMs, I was
We
like,
talked about
there's one that's like
You were
it's
right.
grayed
Yep, we
out.
did.
I want to know if something's coming back. This is what's coming back into that place. One of the most beloved Destiny strikes is back now in Destiny 2 with a few changes here and there, but with all the charm intact. Sunless Cell will make Guardians dig deeper than ever into the Dreadnought to fight a formidable foe. We hope that you're ready for it and for the Grandmaster version 2. It's obviously not going to be
The same.
It's just
Yeah.
a
They
different
said
boss.
it's not
yeah, it's going to be a
all
different
cool.
boss. Yeah,
They
it's not
said
going
it's
to be
going
all
to be
Yeah.
the entire
Right.
same strike, but when you get to the boss, there'll be a
Mhm.
different person there because
Yeah.
Alakul
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
on
They
the
That
also
was
side.
gonna be
said
fun.
something where it's like we had to make some changes, but
Mhm.
then they also it kind of sounded like they were also hinting at them making some other changes because they were like, well, we have to make some changes.
Mhm.
Probably the way you get there because
That's what
route?
I'm wondering if
in
they
the
had to-
Nether, there are parts of the Nether that is actually the progressive route to go
Mhm.
to the Sunless Cell
Yeah.
strike. So maybe they're just going to
Plus,
use the Nether
maybe the
and just use that as a
Dread.
foundation. Yeah, they
Mhm.
might just use that route to get to the Sunless Cells, like boss room, to get down to that area, the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
they're
bet they're
making
gonna
that
put
different.
dread in it
That
Oh,
they're gonna have to
God.
make Dread.
Ugh.
because, well, here's the thing: is that the way that they said it is that it can't be Alak Ghul because Alak Ghul's not there anymore, right?
Mhm.
So they
Right.
were like, well, so who's going to be in the Sunless Cell? Because he's not there anymore. He was there, but he's not. So who's in it now?
A tormentor, and a subjugator.
Oh,
Oh,
please
man.
no.
with
Oh,
nothing
it
but
could be the-
darkness.
it
Yeah.
could be,
Well,
Gotta be
it's gotta be a
original
named boss
strike.
though. Don't
Yeah.
you
Could
think?
be
Like
a
it's gotta be a
bad.
named boss.
It's a name boss. But
Yeah.
it's probably Dread.
sure.
This could be a Dread name
What if
boss.
it's a
A
what if
dread
it's
named boss.
what if it's a Colossus? What if like
in there?
Oh,
yeah,
it's the
Oh.
guy from the fucking
Oh,
what if it's the guy from fucking next to Pyramidion?
like
What was that stupid strike that they added towards the end?
Oh, Festering
Fudge.
Core.
That one. What if it's this guy?
yeah.
He's a taken boy. Whatever his
But are
name
you
is. I can't
saying that
remember.
okay, hold on. Are we saying the final boss is a Taken? I was thinking it was
Maybe.
gonna be
the
Hive.
Nether.
I
It's
I was
gonna be
like-
Hive.
I think it would be hilarious if the only living cabal on that ship. It's just
I think it
in that cell.
might be. No, I don't think it would be Dread.
That's what I'm
But
curious. Like,
I
like
think
what do you
that it's
think the boss is going to be?
current.
'Cause I think it's going to be Hive still.
Mm.
Another Hive
Well,
boss.
so
But that's just me.
Eddie's in chat is like, it's going to be Kelgorath, isn't it? It's always Kelgorath.
Some people
No,
think
it
it's
wouldn't be
gonna
the person that
Tannix.
killed Eric. Oh my god, no, not Tanks.
I
Would it-
wouldn't put it past it if it was Tannix.
Would it be Malak?
Alec?
Again?
It's always
Malak?
Tannix. It's not going to be Tannix.
It's always
Mal-
Tannix.
I mean,
all-
Malak
Tanks
would,
with a steel chair.
I mean, Malak would be cool because you had
Malak was on the moon, wasn't he?
Was he recently?
No. Well, I'm thinking of the strike he was in. He was on the moon.
No. Well, I want to. Anyways, like that pulse rifle.
What pulse?
Wasn't there a pulse that he dropped specifically
In D1.
Yeah, in D1.
He dropped it from the wizard, from Nagoda. Not Nagoda.
Oh, Navoda?
It was that strike.
Yeah.
No, in D1, it was Grass and Malik dropped from the disgrace strike, but it was a different name. It was the same location. I can't remember what the name was. But
Eddie was saying Malak.
Yeah, Farmnigul.
Malak was D1 Moonstrike, yeah, but the pulse with his name came from
Came from
Omnigul.
Omnigul Strike.
Yep,
Yeah.
Omnigul. That's now disgraced. Yeah.
Right.
So it can't be. I mean, unless they move it,
Who-
I just assume
Unless-
it's another named enemy.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be just the way that they talked about it, especially the way that they're talking about it in the TWID, is
Mhm.
that you have to deep dive into it. So it's something where they've kind of acknowledged we're coming back to it. It has to do with the story,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So if it has to do with the story, who was there to be put into the sunless cell? It would have to be someone who is there to put them into the sunless cell. So that's what we got to ask. It might be Hive. Could be.
I was just assuming based off of what it was and who's currently on the Dreadnought. I just assumed it was going to be Hive because the Dreadnought, but I didn't think it was going to be Dread.
Our
But
buddy
there might be Dread enemies.
No, I don't think it would be Dread.
Our
now that I
buddy
think
Aura
about
way
it.
back in the day. Shout
Aura.
out to Aura. R.I.P. PD.
R.I.P.
He
man.
had a dream of a giant screeb being a boss one day. And I
Yeah.
think that would be hilarious. You just
They
drop
had
down
baby
there.
screebs. Why not a giant
Why not a
screeb?
giant screeb?
Why not?
Why not? Why not the biggest
not?
screeb you've ever seen?
But
Down in
why?
the
But also,
sunless cell.
how would it work? Because wouldn't it just explode and you would die?
No,
Yeah.
like it's got a
Explode
timer
into
underneath
baby
your health bar.
screeps.
It's got a timer underneath your health bar, and you gotta deactivate it. You gotta keep it from detonating.
Okay, that would be amazing. The baby
Interesting.
screeb's not as good. Like, what was the one where you had like the
Hallowed lair.
yes, where they turn into like, oh my god, I hate it when they turn
They
into
went
like
Invisible.
underneath the
monkey.
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they became invisible.
But like
Yeah.
a timer for it to explode if you don't do certain
Yeah.
Yeah,
things
to
in a
stop
dark
it?
room would be very
Interesting.
cool. Would be very cool.
Yeah.
Love that idea.
Oh, that would be so neat. That'd be so.
So
freaking
Yeah,
neat.
you could
now
have,
we
you could have
know
like things to
again.
dismantle
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like, or, you know,
Mhm.
Oh,
like
what
interact
Eddie
with your
says,
ghost, and then
and
like
that's how we
gotta
get Wrath
bait
of the
it.
Machine back into the
Oh my
game.
you're just trying to see test to see if our powers
just-
are actually working to get Bungie to do stuff, Dan.
Just listening to the podcast or listeing to it.
I know.
Yeah. Just backdoor it directly in. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like here. I can suggest
Oh
this
my
is a small
God.
thing.
But like Eddie says, gotta bait it into blowing up without wiping yourself. Like
Oh,
in the
God.
freaking,
Think about the
No, no, but,
AoE
like-
on that thing, though. I feel like
In
it's
that
like
room?
if
Yeah,
it
that's the
explodes,
whole
you're just
thing.
like
Oh,
instant
no.
detonated.
what if
Yeah.
you have to do like in the freaking on the Dreaming City? You know, there's a boss in the Blind Well where you have to put the screebs underneath it to explode the
Mm.
shield.
Oh yeah.
What
Oh,
if you had to bring
no.
like the smaller screeb underneath it to blow up his health or something? You know?
Now
But
you're
wouldn't
talking
that
my
explode
language.
him?
Now you're talking my language.
What'd you say, Tiddly?
Wouldn't you explode? Maybe you would have to. Maybe he does explode, and the trick to finishing it is having enough damage resistance in your build to survive something that's like so everyone's going with like the freaking blade build. It's like
just have the
bubble.
Ursula and everyone just blocks it. There
You
you
know,
go.
just block
Oh,
one
God.
person in front, just blocking the
It
whole
would
thing.
definitely play into Bungie's desire to do
Hell
class
yeah.
identity.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love it. Let's make it so.
Cut the
So now
check,
I'm gonna be
Bungie.
sad
Cut
when
the
I
check.
play
Exactly.
Tuesday.
Please don't.
Bungie.
I'm gonna be sad when I play Tuesday and it's just Tanks with a steel chair. Like, oh, come on.
Panic
You
is
have
like, I'm
the
waiting for
screen.
you again.
Okay, wait. Hear me out real quick. Okay. Sorry, I have so many spin foil.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Choose
You have
one.
a pretty
Pick-
good track
pick
record
one.
so far. So
Pick one, and then we're moving on. We're gonna try to keep this rolling.
Brainstorming. Okay, so I think that maybe it was somebody from the Taken King who was loyal to Oryx,
Mm.
and they had to put him in the Sunless cell because he was loyal to Oryx, and maybe it was Zivu Arath who did it.
Zivu as a strike boss.
No, that Zivu Arath
Put
put.
them
Oryx
in
the one who put
in the
with
oh, I see
yeah.
what you're
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. That's my guess. We can move on.
That okay. I can see that. Valid thing. We are
Thank
basically getting Titanfall 3 with heavy metal.
Yeah.
A new
Gosh,
chaotic
that was
PvP
funny.
mode coming in Act 3 of Heresy, where you're basically it's just Briggs versus Drakes the entire time. That sounds rad as hell.
I'm here for
I
it.
love that
Yep.
they're doing something stupid like that. And
Yes.
I see
Way
stupid in the
past
best
time.
of ways,
Yes.
right? I love it. It's just so
Yeah.
fun. It looks stupidly fun.
So
This game takes itself too seriously sometimes. So
Yes.
yes,
I'm
something
all for
silly.
it.
Like I
Mhm.
used to love in Halo Big Team Battle,
Yep.
which
Mhm.
was like
Yeah.
basically an intentionally crafted PvP mode where you could use all kinds of different vehicles. Because I would play that with my sister, and we would get a vehicle and just like holler around the map and just shoot things in the Warthog. It is so much fun.
Yep.
But I think that they had vehicles in one map in Destiny 1, right? Like
They had that one on the
that
move with
one
combined
map
arms.
but they wasn't really intentionally built for vehicles.
No.
And I think this is gonna be great. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to see them do something goofy like this.
I
I
feel
think
like
it's going to bring a lot of people, PvE people,
Mhm.
into PvP.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is what Gambit was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
It
It
was
was that.
I think it's a smart move.
Yeah.
I think that's
I'm,
what we're missing in the game because, like you said, with Big Team Battle,
yeah.
a lot of what, at least for me, a lot of what made Halo, after all of the sweaty stuff, I just really enjoyed hopping into PvP with my friends at
And
the
goofing
time.
off.
And
It was so
goofing
much
off.
fun.
I
It was
lost so many
yeah.
hours just in there, like
Same.
playing Infection and playing Big Team Battle.
Big
So
Team
I'm
Battle
really
was just
here
a
for
hoot.
that.
Big team battle. Yep.
And it
Really,
was
really
just-
glad that they did that. And I really
yeah,
hope
I hope it's similar. 'Cause it's
they spend more time on stuff like this because while Trials is cool, while the whole Guardian thing is cool, I just want to go in and just have fun for a few
Yes.
hours.
Yeah.
So give me more stuff like this.
Heard.
A really good balancing between being sweaty and just goofing off.
Exactly. I think it's good. I think it's like
Team
something that we
Scorched
need.
was really fun and goofy.
Yes.
That's why they
Did
brought
they
it
fully
around.
remove that?
Yeah.
And then they made it serious.
Yeah, then
Oh,
they
yeah.
changed it.
Then they
Mhm.
changed it because they were like, "Oh, people really like it, so we
Let's
should
make it
keep
sweaty.
No,
But then
no.
they changed it, and it's
No.
awful.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, man. Team Scorched was my
make
playlist.
PvP is silly again.
I hate to
I
mention
love the hell out of it.
You
hilarious
didn't have to
Lance, but
actually
like it's the same
try.
thing.
No.
Yeah, you don't have to actually
know.
try.
You just
We-
threw your body
yeah.
at the grinder until like until something came out of it.
Or-
like,
Or even if you're like not playing the objective seriously, you're still goofing off with your friends
Right.
and having a good
Yeah.
time. So and like having fun and doing something that we're like, yeah, you can play the objective and enjoy that, and it can be competitive, but like just going and doing some ridiculous things and laughing with your friends, it's like
yeah, way better.
I'm not worried
It's
about
like-
the winning or losing.
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
like,
winning
You
and
can be
losing is fun
bad,
too, but it's
yeah.
And you're not concerned that you're bad.
Right.
Mhm.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is
Exactly.
ridiculous. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's fun.
We need more of that in the game, definitely.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. yeah.
Absolutely.
Next up on the docket we have Guardian games returning. It's that time of year again. Time to bank some
Yes.
medallions, earn some great rewards, and show everyone which class is the best. Guardian Games back. Well, everybody knows their class is the best. This is their chance to prove it. They're introducing a new mode called Rushdown, which Sammy and I will be taking part in an official Bungie sponsored thing. Guardian Games creator Rushdown or Rushdown Roulette, where we have to pick different things from like a GIF roulette wheel that will be modifiers for our runs, and we like each team has to get the best score during that time. I believe Sammy is on the Hunter side, and I'm on Titan this time around.
Let's go.
So yeah, well, I mean that it's only fueling and vindicating things that have been said about me for years now. So
we've never been on the same team.
I know this needs to change. Field
and I
Next
have never
time.
been on the same team.
Yeah.
Renee said that we can't be on the. Sorry, our marketing rep said that we can't be on the same team because then they'd have to nerf us.
That's fair.
So Dan, they would have to nerf us all.
You know what? That's what's nerfing, but more of a challenge. Introducing Rushdown. Rushdown is a boss rush style activity where you battle a series of bosses taken from Destiny 2's campaigns, series or seasonal story missions, and exotic missions. With each boss encounter defeated, combatants in the activity increase in difficulty. With 5 total encounters per run, you'll have a time limit to complete the run, with time added for each successful encounter completion. Completing encounters in a run may earn you rewards with faster times, offering a chance for more drops or higher quality loot. This sounds fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't play a lot of older outside of like helps. I don't play a lot of older mission activities. So there's some of these bosses that I haven't probably seen in a couple years. And I want to see what kind of like juice they add to these things, you know. What are everybody else's thoughts? What are you guys thinking? Are you going to be hopping into this day one?
I am.
Yeah.
The loot doesn't incentivize me anymore. Right. So the activity itself has to incentivize me. So I'm interested in it. So there's really, and the loot's not for me, even if it was like something great. So cool that they'll have more high quality loot. I just hope the activity is cool.
Yeah.
Has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid of bugs.
I think we all are.
It's Destiny.
I know, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna rush in because of that. Simply because of that, I'm just gonna wait to see what people say.
That's
if it's like riddled with bugs, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Hopefully, they fix it quickly. The loot, I haven't really looked into the loot. Some of it looks interesting and whatnot. I'm gonna make my. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Guardian Games to me is a little bit rinse, wash, repeat type of thing. It's been very, very much the same for the last few years. There's nothing really that makes it new or refreshed every year, unfortunately.
I would say Rushdown though. I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah.
Rushdown was the first new activity they put in. Like we haven't had like a new event like activity in years. So I will give them credit. I agree though. I'll give them credit.
That's like the main complaint, right? It's like, oh, we're just gonna do the same thing every single year. Why bother? Blah blah blah.
I'm happy about that. It just feels a little bit. I'm hoping that this brings it to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna participate, not because I want to complete titles, but because I'm gonna have fun with it, right? So I'm hoping that. But I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I still miss Revelry.
Yeah.
I miss Revelry so much.
Revelry
so much. I miss that. I miss the bonkers buffs you used to get.
Yeah.
The stupid running down the whole freaking infinite forest as quickly as you could and as long as you could and breaking it because there was too much ammo on the ground.
That was
and stuff like that, right?
That was the granddaddy.
That's such a specific callback though, because like
for folks
all of us probably played it, but like that was only around for like 1 or 2 years. So you had to have been playing for a very specific year.
Yeah,
to remember Revelry, which is interesting.
For folks that are new though, like that didn't experience that, like so like Revelry was like the granddaddy of this style of
all
summer
these
event.
events.
Yeah.
It was like the
exactly.
first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And
a first one. Yeah.
you would just be overpowered, and it was crazy, and it was a
Yeah.
lot
Oh
of fun.
yeah.
It affected more than than that one specific activity itself
It
too.
was
You could get the
in the
bugs
entire game.
outside of
It
it.
was game wide.
Yeah, it was game wide. It was insane. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
You
That allowed
became
us to
OP
solo
as fuck.
Riven.
Yeah,
back then.
people would just
Yeah.
go in and break other
Mhm.
activities with the
Mhm.
Yeah,
Revelry
exactly.
buffs, which is
Yep.
what made it really,
Argos
really
and stuff.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably why they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, no, fair.
That's absolutely why they don't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't need it. Here's the thing. What I liked the most about Revelry was, yeah, okay, you get those OP builds and those OP buffs, sure. But to me, it was the go as quick as you could. Like it was
Mhm.
it was like a race mode type, right? It's like go through the Infinite Forest, like all of these not levels, but whatever, all of these kind of branches of the forest
Mhm.
as quickly
Yeah.
as you can, go to the boss, kill the boss, go back, do it again. And like it was over and over again, and like you could run it forever because it didn't have a timer technically. You ran it until you broke the game because there was just too many, like literally it was because there was ammo on the ground and it would crash the game almost.
Mhm.
Yep.
And it was fun because of that, and it also tied into the Halloween event, Festival of the Lost, with the Haunted Forest, right? And I love
Yep.
that because you had both in the same activity in the same location but different ways, because Haunted Forest had a timer, so that one was
Mhm.
slightly different for that. But I don't know, there was something about that race thing that was like you have to go as quickly as you can, kill as many specific type of enemy. Like I think there was like bigger enemies and smaller enemies,
Mhm.
and like run and clear everything as quick as you could. And I kind of miss that. I miss having this type of activity in the
Well,
game.
maybe
I'm
Rushdown
sure there's
will work for you because there's the
maybe
timing
Yeah.
is
no.
like part of it because there's a
But
timer and you get better rewards if you
Mhm.
complete it more quickly. So maybe you're gonna like
we'll see.
Rushdown.
People
I don't
like
know, we'll
speed and timers, and
Yeah.
if you look at historically, a lot of the content people don't like are ones that don't reward you for going fast, or like you can just
Yeah.
go slow at a casual pace.
Yeah. And this rewards you for taking down the bosses like as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Which is
So-
fun because
We'll
it's a build. It's a test of builds. Build
And, yeah, it also
Yeah,
makes you test
exactly.
builds. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
No, I
And
think
also
it's
like
I'll be
interesting.
honest, I'm a little nervous for hunters.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
There's
trying
like
to-
more hunters than anyone.
Let me
in
write
the
some of
game.
these things down.
Because you
Um,
can't
since we're in
ignore
competition.
this. Hunters cannot out damage warlocks or titans. And the
Noted.
whole thing
Hmm.
is damaging bosses as fast as you can.
Mhm.
Well, I mean,
Are we talking
Like-
just abilities and supers?
Just in general. Like, so it's, kill as many as you can as fast as you can. Okay. But if you think about it, like, look at all these supers and abilities and the builds that you can do with Warlock and Titan now that are super OP.
right.
But with Hunter, it's like, yeah, there's other things in your arsenal and you have to be really clever with builds and you really have to work with a team. But at the same
That's right.
time, the builds, there are no Hunter OP builds for damage. And the whole thing about this is killing the bosses.
See, I don't.
I'm going to say, I hope I'm wrong. I
Mhm.
hope I need to be wrong. I need to be wrong because I am a hunter in this competition. I need to be
See,
wrong.
well, I would say, like, obviously, I don't know, because like for me, I'm already knowing that hunters are going to be what I use for speed killing most stuff personally. Unless you're like
Celestial
T
Golden?
Crash,
But are
with
you
Celestial
is
obviously
this a
as well.
competition against other?
No,
Not
that's what I'm saying. Like,
speed,
if you're doing only like
compared
hunters and
to-
stuff, maybe. But like
Yeah.
the only thing I can personally think of off the top of my head that will be faster than 3 hunters is obviously T Crash. That's
Mhm.
literally it.
Yeah.
Like Consecration T Crash.
Like
I
the
can't
Hunters
think
is
of
really
any.
strong.
Yeah, I can't think of it. I can't think of any Warlocks super specific stuff
Yeah,
besides
warlocks are not
the
really...
weapons. Obviously, you have Needlestorm.
Mhm.
Obviously, right now you have the Chaos stuff, but like for speed,
Yeah,
But
Chaos
the
Reach
thing
takes
is
so
it's not
long.
speed. It's killing the bosses as fast as you can.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like killing the boss as fast as you can. Hunters
Mhm.
obviously have a lot of tools to do that quicker than most other stuff.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah, I
see.
agree.
Well, yeah, because you have a debuff. Like what hunters, have buffs and debuffs and burst damage, whereas Warlocks and Titans have one or the other, or a mixture of one or the other together, but not on the best kits. That's all. There's a reason like a lot of the hardest solo stuff has always been on a hunter.
But
That's just
now
my thinking
look at
of
a lot
it.
of the solo stuff, like for most of the speeds, and because this is where I'm thinking about it from. There were not a lot of people that did contests for the new dungeon, for Sundered on Hunter. There are not a lot
I
of
was a
speeds
hunter.
that do it on Hunter. I know, but overall,
I don't know
you
if I
look
can
at
say
the
because of
general-
that, because obviously you're probably thinking of contests, but
and for
Hunter was a
speed-
better choice for a contest. The problem was the survivability of Hunter was not as good in comparison to like the Bolt Charge Titan. That's been nerfed and patched.
Yeah.
So I would have agreed if the Bolt Charge Titan was still broken, but they've pulled that back dramatically. It's not nearly as strong. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe there's something out there that I haven't seen personally that's like someone's like, flying under the radar for Warlocks and Titans. The Hunters have it all. So
I think they do too. I think that their class is designed to be like a glass cannon, so to be kind of like easily killed. So like you have to be clever in terms of surviving, but that their damage output is incredibly high. And I know that they've mixed, in terms like utility for the different classes, so the lines are blurred a little bit. But I mean, I'm just thinking about like the still hunter damage.
Oh yeah,
like oppressive meta that happened, and how did we come to the point like in just I don't know a few months where we're like hunters can't compete at damage. Like I think they still can, but I'm not a hunter main. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But
Also, a lot of people didn't use Hunter in a contest because the Nighthawk wasn't working on the second boss as well because of the crit value stuff.
Yeah.
So that's another big issue. At least that's what I came across. And for a final boss, I remember Divinity was just way easier. And so people just stacked up on other ways of applying it. But Tether still worked. I don't know. Because I was about to say I'm rooting for the Hunters because the Hunters have, from the list I saw, obviously Dan is not a Hunter, so I'm sorry. But I do think Hunters have the edge of the other two classes.
I hope you're right. I hope you are
unless
right.
there's something I'm missing, and unless the boss is like, if you go in there and there's like Shriekers and only Shriekers or something like that, then maybe there's a different thing going on. But like, I can instantly see Hunters having the easiest time, unless like the hazardous propulsion Titan strat's still around. So I don't know. I'm rooting for the Hunters because they definitely. If I had to pick, I think Hunters would have. No. I don't think that.
I'm rooting for
like,
no, you do.
I'm absolutely washed because there's a lot of stuff that I'm not keeping up. I don't keep up with the game like I used to. That is 100%
I know Void
a fact.
Hunter. That's it.
But I do know that, like,
from what I've heard, from what people have been telling me, and that's what scares me.
They're scaring you just because they know that Hunters, especially 3 of them,
they're trying
to have everything covered.
They're trying to throw you off your game. Look at it this way: they don't want you to win. And as a competitor, Dan? I have to say, listen to them.
Wow, Dan.
As your
Mind
competitor,
games begin.
As your friend, don't listen to them. But you have to decide.
Let's move on from this.
Let's move on from that. All right. So
before we start a blood feud,
we got a new trace rifle coming in. Perfect for what's popping up next week.
Artifact.
On top of a renewed, on top of a renewed perk pool for Terra Zippos, the title and the Hullabaloo, we have one new weapon available only during Guardian games. That is the Koranios, a new arc trace rifle that can roll with some strong combos that fit very well in our arc-centric episode. Jolting feedback, check. Recycled energy, yep. Rolling storm, of course. That does look like it's going to be like pretty sick. I like the look of the armor. I think overall, the big thing for the next few months is that like this feels like with Rushdown, with the Rights of the Nine, with the Briggs versus tanks with heavy metal, all of this like cumulatively feels like it's going to be like a almost like an Into the Light 2.0 kind of thing.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
It
think
feels they're
maybe
putting
they're
more
going to
effort in it.
be delaying?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think so. And I don't like
But you
that.
know
It's
what?
like 130 days away. Is that right? Like,
I'm
Something like
personally, I'm
that.
giving them till the middle of April because I
Yeah.
think by the time, because when April 1st comes, we'll get the Act 3, and that's only 3 weeks. So if we don't know the actual launch date by the time we get to the end of Act 3's 3-week cycle, it's getting delayed, and I don't like that because we
I
knew
would
Final
rather
Shape's
it
date
be
so far out.
delayed. I'd rather. Oh, you mean you wouldn't like how late it would be to hear about the delay, or just
Personally, I don't. I
Or the
feel like
footage
right
might be
now.
delayed.
Well, yes to both. I don't want us to get
Okay.
delayed
mhm.
because I kind of miss us. I don't like us getting accustomed to the delays. I know everything
Mhm.
happens in the world, and we haven't had a launch date and stuck to that launch date in about 5
Oh,
years.
boy. Oh boy. Okay,
If
yeah,
you
that's how
like,
you're
we
doing
haven't
it.
had a launch date and stuck to it since whatever the expansion was before Forsaken. That's the
Mhm.
last time we had a launch date, and it stuck to it, which now makes it feel like it was longer because we've had a date and we've had it delayed since Shadowkeep. And I don't like personally that like they give us a little bit of information about an expansion and then they keep pushing it back. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree.
But I
Have they
do
pushed
think
it
that
back
they
twice? Have they pushed anything back twice? I don't remember. Like they pushed it
don't
back
think
and then
so.
they were like, "Oh, we have to push it back again."
I don't think
think
so.
I don't think so.
I think we've only ever had one push.
That's
But
what I
for
thought.
all we know, they might have had a date, didn't announce it yet, and then
Mhm.
Yeah.
delayed.
And then pushed it back
So
on their own. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, the longest pushback we had was
Beyond Light.
the Season of the Lost, right?
Yeah.
I would say
Well,
Beyond Light was longer. Well,
Season
no,
was
that's
Season
not
of
true.
Arrivals?
Beyond Light, they
No.
told
It
us
was
early.
pandemic.
They told us early.
Season of the Lost was like 6 months long. It was like a
Yeah.
really long season.
Season
Whereas
Lost was 6
Season of
months, yeah.
Arrivals was not that. It was long, but it wasn't as long.
Right.
It was a bit
The
shorter. I mean, I think it was 4
announcement to
months.
the launch was 6 months. They
Yeah.
told us like
Yeah.
in March
Gotcha.
that it was getting delayed, and we didn't
So-
get it until November.
So something that I'm looking at right now is like, because we were looking, I think we've said this a few months back or a few episodes back, where you can no longer see like how long like it is
Yeah.
until the release for the
Oh.
next
Mhm.
release in your
Yeah.
season rank. Like it's completely gone from
Yeah.
the season rank tab.
Yeah.
However, if you view your journey and then go to view your rank progress, underneath your current rank, it will say season ends in 127 days and 16
Yep.
hours at the time of this recording. So, like,
Right now, it says like the first week of August is when we're getting Apollo, something like that.
yeah, something along those lines.
Probably will be pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that kind of
Right.
delayed from what
That's
we
like, well,
got
that's
when
like July, right?
They said summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
all
I
they
gotta
said.
say that-
August is
People-
summer, despite what some people think. Anyways,
People are saying from what that says, what it indicates is that it will come out for the raid will come out the same weekend as GCX. And I just
That's
have
what
to
some
get this
people assume.
off
Yeah.
my chest, okay?
Mhm.
You don't
There's
care.
no possible way that Bungie would move it back. They would probably move
That
it
they
back
would
a
or
week.
would not.
They would, because there's
Yeah.
no way with how much money they probably make from the world first race.
yeah,
How
having
many
Oh, yeah,
people
and
come
to
a lot
out
of their
have a lot of your
competitors
content
there.
creators over there.
So-
Yeah, no.
so
Also,
dumb.
Bungie goes to GCX as well. So
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
they always have a couple of
That's-
So
DMG
people like,
goes.
oh, I hope that they change it. That would be really. Guys, don't be an idiot. I
Mhm.
don't like calling people idiots often, but don't be an idiot. Bungie makes bank because of those.
Mhm.
They're not
Yeah.
going to give up that profit
They wouldn't
It's, like,
have a
dumb.
good world's first if about a lot of their top creators were at GCX as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, like,
exactly.
You're right.
Bloodman says something interesting in chat that I think that I've also kind of heard through Jeff Grubb on Giant Bomb. Was that there's supposed to be news about Marathon sometime in April.
No
that
comment.
That is something that Jeff Grubb had I think posted about that. And I know he was speculating as to whether or not they would also try to do like some sort of like if that was just going to be standalone or if that was going to be part of like a Sony thing. But Bungie definitely likes to do their own kind of event, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was a thing.
No comment.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. We're just
Can we
we're
have a
not
comment later?
we're not. Well, let's not ask him that question. Like I don't want to.
All I can say is that I would hope that
I'm
we
joking.
get some
I'm
information
totally,
about the
I'm totally joking,
all I
by
can
the
say
way.
is that I would love to see them tell us whether or not we're getting any type of delay. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, be nice
Yeah.
to know.
Agreed.
So you're
Yeah,
saying no point, no
We need to
point.
know sooner than
Yeah.
later.
Well,
Yeah, be good.
yeah, because like at least historically we've had it the episode whatever the episode before. At least we know.
Yeah.
Like we've always known kind of like, okay, the next expansion is coming out in June, May, or whatever. We still don't know.
I
don't
would
know.
be surprised if we go through the entirety of Act 2 without knowing.
Yeah.
Like I feel
They'll
like
make an
that's-
announcement of an announcement. Just
Yeah.
watch. I'll make an announcement of an
Mhm.
announcement.
They're really good at those.
That's
Question for you
That's what
guys.
they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're really good at those.
Yeah.
As we know, new content, even just for episodes, even sometimes just for events, we have server issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you
Yeah.
prefer, and there's a lot of bugs, would you prefer them to delay it so that they could get more of the bugs ironed out? Or
No.
would you prefer they just launch it as is?
Oh, dude.
I would say no, only because I don't want to say they haven't, but they have turned the game off for multiple years in a row. They've done multiple delays to stop that from happening, and it still has happened.
Mm.
There's
But
no
now
way they
it
can
might
predict
be
every
worse.
error.
It might
Yeah.
be worse, yes, but it might be better. There was
haven't
multiple times that it has not happened, but they've also turned the game off and delayed stuff to stop that from happening, and it still happened. Like they said they did that for Final Shape, and people still had issues with Final Shape.
But did they have this many layoffs? They
They
laid
were
off a
doing
ton
layoffs. They were doing them.
So
So I
that's
don't
my
know.
only question for you
Yeah.
guys is because they very obviously don't have the staff.
I'm typically like if they need to delay because of something that is absolutely game breaking, like that goes for Bungie, that goes for any studio. I am typically
Yeah.
in favor of them taking the time that they need in order to get it done so that it doesn't come
Yeah.
out in a completely broken state, where it doesn't push people away from the game. Because I feel like over the past few expansions since Lightfall, and I think that's like probably there's probably some numbers behind this. Like we've seen like declines in player numbers since Lightfall, right? And I don't think if they were to rush to put it out in time, that it would make for a better product and that it would gain the trust of any new players that might come on with Frontiers or maintain the trust of any players that are currently actively playing the game even in those slow times, right?
Yeah.
So I
thought you meant in the sense of like normal game breaking stuff that happens every like season and expansion. Like we always get the contacting Destiny servers.
Right.
If you're talking something more grand scale of the game, then absolutely.
Yeah. I would rather see them ship in some manner that is like in a working functional product.
Yeah, condition.
Than
There's also
you
only
guys
so much they can do
remember-
though.
Yeah, exactly.
With Final Shape launch, how we had so many issues and there were so many bugs, and people were like, well, yeah, they laid off all of their QA team,
Mhm.
and that's what a lot of people were saying. And then people were like, "Yeah, I'm just not going to finish it. I'm going to wait."
Mhm.
People didn't come back, things like that. And a lot of that was because of the bugs, not just
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, the server's having issues." It's that, "Oh, Bungie laid people off."
Right.
Well, that could be the case with this because since they started developing it, more people have been laid off in QA. Game directors have left. Big people in the company have left. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, are they going to delay it because the game, they just need to delay it for that reason? Or are they going to delay it because they don't have the resources to finish it?
I
It depends, yeah.
until they say
Yeah.
that they're going to delay it, I'm going to think that 127 days is like
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
And I would like to get to some sort of sense of normalcy of like content drops. Personally, but I also have empathy that like if something's gonna break, might as well take the time to fix it.
Yeah.
And give us a full
It's
like
rough.
produced thing.
And I should
Yeah.
like
there's no right answer either way though.
Yeah. I'll probably try to go through and vet because I said earlier in the show that I saw somebody had posted that they're going to be working for Bungie QA, but I didn't vet that source at all. You know what I mean? Like that was on, that was just on social.
It was on
like,
Twitter, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the dark web. So like I should like I'll be more careful in saying those things in the future to be like, okay, this is I like vetted this and it seems like it's true.
Yeah.
But it like
there have been people who worked at Bungie who are coming back contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have seen posts like that,
Mm-hmm.
which they are probably credible.
Yeah, that's probably credible. Like anecdotally, that's probably fairly credible then if that's a trend that is happening with people that who have left and then or who were laid off and now are coming back. So like if they're starting to band together, if I wonder what the conversation might have been like if they're like, "Hey, Sony, we definitely need our own QA team." Because like
Yeah.
like I
They
think
have to probably do something to stop Sony from taking over too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just know they have Sony over their head like, listen, you got one more time. And I know obviously they don't want that either. So
Yeah.
I'm pulling for an actual launch date.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also pulling for a good launch week because
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I don't want to say this launch is more important for people than Final Shape because obviously there won't be as many players as Final Shape, but this is their chance of creating a new start for a lot of players, including new players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Probably a better
players,
probably a better start
probably
than Final
better.
Shape.
Yeah,
I was
because
just
only
thinking
returning
that,
players.
yep.
This is their one jumping in point that everyone's technically starting fresh for the most part, at least story wise.
Yeah.
So if there was ever a time for them to like really, really focus on the technical side and like make sure, it seems as well, and I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, no matter how much stress testing they're doing of their servers beforehand, there's no way that they can
Yep.
balance it enough or like fix it enough to where it doesn't happen. It seems to be every time they have to go in and work stuff, even when they like purchase new servers and stuff.
Right.
So I don't know if I don't know what they can do, but it would be really nice for Apollo Frontiers, whatever, to launch without that issue.
Right.
Whatever they have to do, I'd be willing to wait it out a couple weeks.
Yeah, same.
I think that's all for our update conversation of like what has gone on in the news of the week. Before we get into audience questions, I want to give Sammy Cat, I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm going to do this once a week, and I'm going to call in somebody random, right? For tinfoil hat predictions. Because obviously, we had the Sunless Cell thing. We had the we had the dungeons coming back with harder difficulties that you guys maybe
We're right.
you guys were right on the money with that. We're gonna do a little bit of a prediction game here. So Sammy Cat, what would your prediction be for something that happens in the next, say, 2 to 6 months of the game?
So okay, we're assuming that Frontiers is not delayed here, right?
Assuming
Yeah,
Frontiers
we're
is
just
not
gonna go
delayed.
with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is my hope. This is what. Well, okay, wait. I can't do this right now.
Oh, okay. Look, if there's
Why not?
anything legally keeping you from doing anything.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I'm writing another play
Oh, okay.
for Bungie Day.
Okay.
I'm running another play, and I don't want to like
You don't want to
give
give
that
anything away.
about my play.
Right. Well, hey, we know there's a new play coming. We know that it's called Redacted.
It is about Frontiers.
Okay.
Okay, so wait, let me come up with a new spin foil hat
all right,
here.
new spin foil hat.
I think that no, I need more time.
Okay. That
Okay,
sounds good.
let's have her think about it this weekend, and
let's
hopefully
do
next
that.
week.
Okay,
she has
next week.
something.
Next week will be the first one. I'm gonna call on the team to like come up with like a list of your own. That way, when we
I'll
call,
have a
it's not
list.
it's not on.
Yeah.
It's not on the spot like
Spur
this.
of the
Tammy's gonna be
minute
the
pop
best one for
quiz.
that.
But yeah, we'll do.
Did
we'll
you
do that
bring your
starting next week.
homework, chat? Right here.
What's your homework?
Oh, God.
All right. So we have a question from Who's Eddie that they just asked. Is like, how do people feel about a proposed 2 smaller expansions a year versus?
If they're good, I'm good.
I'm into it.
If they're good, I'm good. Like if we go back to the same quote unquote quality, I'm not gonna say style, but quality of content that we used to have with like Season of the Forge and Menagerie or Season of Opulence, sorry, I'm all for it. I just want to be fair with everything that we were talking about and like the upcoming few weeks and everything, like the Into the Light, comparing that to that. If Bungie keeps going into that direction and keeps making that type of more, I want to say more meaningful content, maybe. I don't know if it's the right word, but I'm gonna go with that for now.
It feels like momentum.
If
That's
they
a
keep
good-
that
yeah.
momentum going, if they keep making content more aligned to what the players are looking for, but still trying new stuff, the tank, the heavy metal stuff, whatever, like trying kind of funny, not serious stuff, try to kind of balance both sides of the equation if you want. I think we're going to be in a good period for the game. It's not going to be back to what it used to be, 100% sure, but if they keep the momentum going, if they keep listening, if they keep trying new goofy modes, but also keep making content and activities that people like, iterating and then adding and making it better and so on and so forth, I think it'll be good. And then less like just two smaller expansions. Again, if they have meaningful content, if they have good and like great quality content, that's perfect. We don't need as much content all the time, especially if the content's not going to be, interesting, or if it's going to be repetitive. What's the point, right? So I'm more about less, smaller, but quote unquote better quality or more meaningful. Like, I'm happy with that. Please give us that.
I could so one thing, seasons okay, so the variety of seasons and the quality of seasons as we've known them, and now episodes, have been kind of like all over the place. Like you have some that are really good and some that are like and so
like, over that, exactly.
So what I'm looking forward to in 2 smaller expansions a year is something that is maybe a little tighter and a little bit more focused in the scope of the story that they're telling, the activities that we'll be doing, and some of the variety there. I think that's probably what I'm looking most forward to. But I remember like it feels like, I've said this before on the show, it feels like back in Destiny 1 when you got like House of Wolves and like that hit, and then you had Taken King later on that year. Like, sure, there was like a little bit of a downtime there, which I don't think that they'll be going back to. I think that they'll be trying to keep us active the entire 6 months of like an expansion.
Yeah.
But I it kind of brings me back to those vibes. So I'm a little nostalgic for that in a way. There's some cool stuff that happened in the lead up to House of Wolves, like the Fallen just randomly showing up like in locations on in the Cosmodrome, and then you had to find the keys, and then you had to find the chests like after you yeah, like that was such a cool thing. So yeah, like we'll just see on that front.
I think right now it feels like we're kind of in a holding pattern, and they're giving us like, I mean, I'm excited about the activities that they're kind of bringing up, but like at the same time, it's kind of like, here's some busy work to do before we put out the new stuff. So even though I am excited, I think they're doing a good job of like saying, oh, here's some points of interest that you can kind of keep you busy until the new stuff comes out. I think doing 2 smaller expansions per year makes sense, if it means that they are biting off what they can actually chew and deliver upon, which I think is really important for the consistent delivery for people to kind of regain trust in the game and having a future in the game. I do think they need to let us know soon. I think we touched on this already, but they need to let us know soon, give us information about the new expansion that's coming up, because I think I talk to my husband about Destiny a lot, and he's kind of like, where's the information? I need something to get excited about. Like I need to have a reason to play the game, is like something to be excited about that's coming up next. And it's not just, oh, here's the next season, because people are like, oh, okay, womp womp. Like that doesn't juice it enough for me. Like I need to know when's the next big expansion, give me information about it, get me amped up, generate that Bungie hype machine that they're so good at doing. So the 1 dungeon, 1 raid per year is definitely a downgrade from doing 2 raids per year. However, because for me, like you can have quality content for the seasonal releases, but the story's good, whatever. But the like what gets me excited about the game are the raids, and particularly the raids, and like especially the raids. So but I'm amping up the dungeons with the contest mode, and has like, I feel like kind of compensates a little bit from not having 2 raids per year, but it doesn't quite live up to like that release content that I like the best.
Raid lair type thing, the shorter raids.
See, the thing is, I loved the raid layers. I think Eater of Worlds was one of my favorite like raids that I've ever done. I mean, I think that at a certain point though, like where are you blurring the lines between what is a dungeon and what is a raid? Because like Sunder Doctrine is phenomenal, but in the sense that it feels like a mini raid, and I love that about it. Like, and I don't mind that if they're blurring the lines there, but like really a shorter raid is, I think, would be fine too. Like I'm saying I don't have a problem with it. It definitely feels like a little bit of downgrade. I understand resource wise why they might be doing it, as long as they're delivering them the dungeons and raids consistently. I think it'll still be good for the game. And I think it's also okay to have downtime for Destiny. We talk about this a bit, but like I think it's okay for Dan to go and grind 100 hours into Monster Hunter World, and for us to play like couch co-op games with our spouses. I think that's all really, really healthy and positive. So I have a minor quibble because the raids are all that's what I saw about it for me. So
I think something going back to like the hype machine bit of it, right? It's like there hasn't been anything except for something that was maybe like 6 months ago when we found out that they were doing Frontiers, right? And we got those articles and all of that stuff. Like I could honestly see if they didn't announce something in tandem with Marathon, right? If they didn't do this like this Bungie showcase of both games, I could see them saying, "Hey, like at the end of the Marathon one, being like, and stay tuned for news about or for release date for Destiny 2 Frontiers."
That'll be a way to connect the hype machine together and get people excited about
both.
That would be a smart PR move on their part.
Yeah. Especially both, because I think like I don't know too many people that are very excited about Marathon personally. Like it's an extraction shooter, and that might be like 3 or 4 years too late for the genre. And like, at least when I'm listening to conversations from like in the scope of a larger game space, I don't necessarily hear that excitement from anybody.
I mean, it could be that we're not the target demographic
Yeah.
too. I mean, it could be like the hardcore Tarkov people. And I don't know about sometimes even late adopter also is a really positive thing. Like look at Marvel Rivals and Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like if you come into the same genre and you just do it like in an excellent way, it can be attractive to people who are interested in that genre. We just may not be the target demo for that. But
sometimes I
Fair.
feel like it's hard for people to see or to reconcile that this is a different game.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Destiny Rising, that's a different game.
Yeah.
That's not a Bungie game. Especially, I mean, so it's kind of one of those things where they're not going to be going after all of the Destiny people because that's just,
okay.
it's not one of our games, and that's okay. But I feel like a lot of people in the Destiny community feel like, okay, this is another one of the Bungie games, so I should just like it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that might hurt. That misconception, or not misconception, I don't know the word. Where people think it's going to be for them because it's a Bungie game and they love Destiny, but then it's not, and then they just get hurt by it. There's a word for it and I don't know it. But
I thought it was what you were saying. I think I missed the beginning, but I played Destiny Rising and I had a lot of people thinking that like or confused that the things happening in Rising didn't line up to the lore and the story and everything from Destiny. It's like actual mainland stuff.
no, that's what it is. There's just a word. I can't think of the actual word that's bothering me.
I mean, I think you do have a good point though. I mean, I think it's okay for us to not be the demographic for this different game. I think that's absolutely fine for it to be targeted towards somebody who likes extraction shooters. That's great. I hope it's super successful. I think that a lot of Destiny players will pick it up because one thing we love about the game, one thing I loved about Halo is like the game engine and how everything feels and sounds and feels great to shoot. And like if it's a game where things are fun to shoot, if it's not as punishing as Tarkov is, and they find a way to make it fun, then I'm super gonna try it and like goof around with my friends. And you know, it may be the game that gets me into extraction. Who knows? But it's okay if it's not. I think that my only quibble is that if they really are not targeting to their Destiny audience, which is enormous, absolutely huge, even with the hit after Final Shape drop off, it's a missed opportunity because they have this dedicated fan base that will buy anything that they're putting out. And it's a missed opportunity if they do not sustain and put out great content for the Destiny universe if they're making a game that's supposed to be completely different from that. Because they need to find a way to take this enormous market of committed, dedicated players that they have and give them something to play. And it's okay if Marathon isn't for them. That's okay, as long as they release something new for them, or the continued expansions are excellent for them, because otherwise they're just going to lose money. I think that's a missed opportunity to not service the player base they already have.
Like, yeah.
I just wonder how many Destiny players are going to have that healthy of an outlook or perspective.
Oh, I mean,
I don't know. I think people are bragging about it.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
You're talking about Destiny players, Sammy.
You cannot.
You're gonna complain about everything, including
everyone thinks the reason we have no content in Destiny sometimes is because of Marathon.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not as I mean, I know resources are zero sum type situation, but like you have to think that they're managing that the best way that they can, you know, like, and it's okay for like I feel like Dan, I have enjoyed multiple Bungie created games. Like when they sold off the Halo franchise, I think everyone was kind of like,
was so sad.
oh my god, like
Halo.
What?
Yeah,
I
said I'm
loved
done with
Halo so much. Like apparently Sammy too. Like so we were like, well crap. Like is Halo going to be the same? Like what are they going to put out? Like are they going to, you know, am I going to like that game? They were synonymous with that, even though they had done other projects previously. Like they that was where they made their big name, and then they're like, that's crazy. How are they selling off this huge franchise that is so successful? And like and we're like, it's, you know. But then Destiny came out, and it turned out to be like the best thing ever. So I want that for them. I feel like Destiny has been out for amount of time. Like I would love something completely new. Is Marathon going to be that? I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like it's fairly limited in terms of what it's offering. But who knows? Maybe that will be the next big Bungie game that everyone's going to love. Like I think whenever they make something, I want to play it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even if it's not specifically targeted towards me, everything that they put out, I like.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try it either way. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. Final question of the night comes from Madalat. Not swapping PvE activities, yay or nay? I believe that this is a new modifier that is coming to the Rights of the
Nay.
Nine stuff, where you're punished if you swap your loadouts. I think that that's something that has been a hot topic in the Destiny community.
I didn't know it was a hot topic for like swapping loadouts, but
if people in my
apparently there's a group of people who don't like changing loadouts once they load into an activity.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah. What is everybody else's thought here on that?
I
I'll
was
just say
shocked
no.
that master content personally isn't loadout locked. I was
Yeah.
surprised how much isn't loadout locked in the game.
You can't do it though. It's the problem with loadout locking in master content, especially, are all the hindrances and
Mhm.
all of the different activities requires like a different build.
Mhm.
Well, I get their mindset of they want you to create a loadout that can be used everywhere.
Mhm.
But the game
but
is
it's
just
not
not
always.
built for
Like a
that kind
master
of
build?
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
imagine like using ghosts, because we're gonna have to deal with that. Imagine having a loadout for the opening, the transitional, add clear section, Ektar, and the wizard. And instantly you're
Mhm.
like, well, I can't because I need different tools for
I need
different
yeah.
activity,
Mhm.
like for different sections. And that then making me have to like have all my stuff taken from me is just it's for a game that thrives so much on build diversity and using all your tools. Having that added to the game just feels like a step back, just personally. So I'm not a fan of it. It'll probably work in some situations, but I don't think it's a good thing for the game, even though I understand their sentiment behind it.
I feel like devil's advocate. I mean, I agree. I agree with you, Dan, but I feel like devil's advocate, you could say loadout locking for PvP could feel a little bit more like trying to, I don't know, maybe like level and even
Oh, for
out.
PvP, absolutely. I get
Yeah,
it, for
like kind of
PvP. I meant for
trying to
PvE.
turn it into like a COD type activity,
Yeah.
or like something where the like things are more even for the different teams that are playing, which is not really an achievable goal in Destiny PvP just generally.
No.
But I'm just like thinking like in Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, like when you're going in with things that are, you know, abilities, things that are already predetermined, pre-locked, you have to plan like kind of like that in advance. You know, like I don't know. I feel like
I think
that
it works in
could
PvP.
be,
You're right.
Well-
If they kept it for PvP, I'd be okay with it.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's something that would make me enjoy the game more, but I can kind of see where it would be an interesting challenge to kind of try to decide, okay, well, we have we're going to bring in this kit specifically for this map, because I think this is going to be most effective. We want this person to be running this loadout, and then you kind of like communicate about it in advance. I don't know. It could be an interesting problem. But
I'm willing to check it out though. Like
So,
yeah.
I tweeted it. I was like, I don't like this, but I'm willing to see it in practice first before.
Yeah, making a
beforehand.
judgment on it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think generally, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Something to keep in mind here, though, is that this is switching exotic weapons and switching exotic armor. So not switching like your surges and stuff, not switching like your legendaries. So this is switching that during an encounter.
Yeah.
So you can have different builds. It's just during an encounter. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people think it's switching all of your loadouts throughout the entire encounter or throughout the entire activity. So that's not the case. There's a lot of misinformation going on, and we don't know that much information. This is just what we saw. They haven't even talked to us about it. But there's a lot of misinformation and misconception about it right now.
I would say if that's the case, because then I definitely am susceptible in that sense. Since they use the examples and most of the information around it is comparing it to PvP. Since that's what the only place in the game. Well, since most of the other places that we have, it locks everything in the sense of like you can't change
your classes.
Even myself, I assumed that no swap represented that same system, with the exception of not graying everything out, and if you swapped it, you'd be punished. So I would definitely take that, because I've read it, and I guess I didn't fully comprehend that was only the exotic that they're changing, like whatever.
From my
like,
understanding, it's only the exotic items, but it's also when you essentially think of it this way: when you swap, like I'm going to damage, I'm going to swap over to Orpheus rigs. So I'm running something else. I'm going to swap over to Orpheus. I would lose all my abilities.
Does it also affect the super? Because if that's so, that sucks. That absolutely sucks.
So that's what it is. You lose all of your abilities. So it's much, much more forgiving loadout locks. Think about it also this way. So what I do for Warlord's Ruin is, for solo, is I go and wait for my super. I run everything with Star Eaters on the final boss. And then right before the final, like, top damage phase, I wait for my tether. So I swap to a different loadout with a different subclass. Well, like subclass options within Void. And then I have to go ahead and wait for that. And I use Orpheus. So it's similar to that, where it's like...
So if somebody were to be running, say, Orpheus for ad clear, but they were on Prismatic Hunter, and they wanted to, well, no, not even that. Let's say Prismatic Golden Gun, but they were using a different exotic during ad clear. Like a lot of times, I'll run Prismatic Hunter with Golden Gun and run, like, say, 6 Coyote for my build or something like that, or even like Ger Falcons, and then hot swap to a Nighthawk. I would go into it and lose my super.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's much, much more forgiving.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
only if I swap and then wait for my super to come back. Then.
Or you use your super.
So you still can, or use your super and then swap.
So you can still swap, but you lose your super, or you can't, or they're locked.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do I lose my super?
Swap, you can swap, but you lose all your abilities and super. It's essentially, think about it.
No, you
think
can't
about
swap.
it this way: you swap, you can swap, but think about it. Okay, say if you swap your exotic armor over, so I go Star Eaters over to, or 6 Coyote over to Orpheus, it would essentially, the game would treat it as though I swapped from one super to another super. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do it.
There's a penalty.
There's a penalty.
It's not, based off of that, it's not as bad, but that's still pretty brutal. I would argue.
Yeah, it's not great. It kind of goes counter.
If
to
it was just abilities, then I'd be okay with that. But man,
I feel like part of the fun in like doing a challenging activity like Pantheon was all of the swaps
that would suck in Pantheon.
All the swaps you needed to do in Pantheon to complete the activity, like having an ad clear like loadout, and then you're swapping to your like damage loadout, and then swapping to like, you know, whatever other loadout you have. So like I would do 2 to every Pantheon encounter, and and part of that, I think it makes the game more fun to be able to min-max like that when you're doing harder activities. So I think that, I don't know, like I feel like that
makes it really bad for, just personally, just thinking, that makes it really bad for Aeon users and Cenotaph users.
The big thing is that people are upset about is Aeons.
That instantly makes me like,
sure.
So then,
a
lot of people are like, if Bungie ends up fixing the ammo economy then
would
maybe
help.
this wouldn't be as bad.
Mhm.
But
Right.
that would help
mean-
a little bit, but like still, anytime like you have your super getting taken from you, that's I don't know.
That's kind of
I'm
feels
willing to
bad,
wait and
yeah.
see, but like in the content that matters, like Tedley said, I can't imagine Pantheon. Like you got too many things, especially it's probably worse because you have fewer people, so you have to make sure more
Mhm.
people. I don't think I like.
Right.
I'm just thinking of contests. I don't think I would have been able to do as many runs of that without Aeons and without like
Yeah.
Xenotap, for
Mhm.
example,
Right.
and
right.
without
You're right.
exotic
Especially
swapping.
yeah, the final boss. Like I feel like we ran, TAF like all the time on that. I just
Maybe
I just,
them
yeah.
changing the ammo helps. I don't know. I'm willing to not overanalyze it yet. I'm willing to see it in
See how
game
it goes.
first.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
like,
I guess
it
I
doesn't
guess
sound as bad as I thought, but it still sounds pretty rough.
I guess what is the motivation? Are they just trying to make it more challenging by adding like more restraints or like constraints to the game? Like, is that why they're adding?
Did they
swaps?
say in the 12 what
I-
the reason? That's my
I-
question.
I don't think that they
I
touched
don't
on that
know-
at all in the TWAB.
I don't
Okay.
know whether or not they touched on it in a social media post. I don't know if like DMG had touched on it or not.
Okay.
I would like to
But-
hear
Yeah,
the
they
reasoning
received the
what I-
behind
feedback,
it.
but that's all he said.
Yeah.
Just that they're taking the feedback on it, but that's all
Yeah.
I've seen at least.
I'm
The
guessing,
feedback
like,
would be
They
just to
have
take it out.
said
Just
otherwise,
don't do
yeah.
it.
It sounds good.
they want to make more meaningful class experiences, and I'm wondering if this plays into that.
I mean, but like, I don't know.
That
To me, it
doesn't-
feels like I feel like the having like the loadouts be easy access in the game was like such a nice quality of life
Mhm.
Yeah.
improvement.
Yeah.
And like especially we needed that because of the oversimplification of the build crafting systems that they made like that big change and like just really winnowed down and made it very narrow. And I think that like the loadout swapping and the hot swapping that you can do on console, like almost well, not quite as easy, but almost on like having it built in game is such a nice
Oh.
kind of like adjustment for not having all of that build crafting because now your build crafting is like okay, well I can run different loadouts and change in between them quickly. So like pulling that back feels kind of unfun. As much as I like design within constraints as like an engineering gameplay problem, I think
Mhm.
not it. I mean, although
Yeah.
like Sammy, I didn't know that it was I didn't
A
know that
lot
it was
of
just
people-
exotics. So
Um,
like that definitely, but I mean, I don't know.
It would have been
I don't
nice for
know.
them to
We'll see.
like fully explain it because if I was susceptible for thinking it was everything, then I can only imagine how many people. That's totally my fault for not, I guess, doing enough research.
there's
Yeah.
not
But
enough.
if
They
it
haven't
was,
talked
not
about
enough
it.
research.
They haven't talked about it
It's a
in
bigger deal.
the stream.
Oh, so it's just the live stream then.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, people were taking
yeah.
screenshots from the live stream.
Oh well, you know,
That's
maybe that's like I don't know. Maybe we just don't have enough information yet, and that's
Yeah.
kind of
They
unfortunate.
they
it's,
definitely need to
released
talk
in
about
that
it
way
more.
because it is. It sounds like it's a kind of like a contentious community thing, and like the community can kind of ramble off on Reddit
Yeah.
if they don't have enough information or
And Twitter
reassurances.
and just about
It's
everywhere
just-
else.
And Twitter and
Yeah.
the
everywhere.
argument
Yeah.
on consoles doesn't work anymore either because the current ones are just so good. Like
Mhm.
I don't personally agree with the argument that people can't do it on consoles
I was able
because
to.
the consoles are equally as good for like doing all of the stuff in Destiny now. Like
I was
it
able
just doesn't work.
during the speedrun event that I just took part in. We lost, by the way.
Yeah,
But
DJ's on participating though.
it
I
was-
know you like improved a lot.
it
at
was
your
fun. Yeah, we
thing.
got a 17-minute time. Like yours,
17 is still
That's
crazy.
at
impressive.
our
Really
fastest,
good.
which
Yeah.
was nuts.
Yeah.
But I was doing some like that was the first time really that I did a lot of swapping of loadouts on PlayStation. I play
Yeah.
on PlayStation. I don't normally change loadouts on a whim. I'm usually pretty much like I'll stick with what I got until like an encounter needs me to change something up, and then I'll just do it manually because it doesn't really take that long for the most part for me. But that was pretty eye opening of like, oh well, then I can just kind of like rip through things with the
Yeah,
loadouts
it's
on the
so
sidebar.
fun.
Yeah,
I will
so-
say
Yeah,
there are
it's
more
so fun
people
to do
like
that,
you,
right?
Dan, than us because
Yeah.
I notice a lot of times, like you probably noticed as well when doing helps, especially that a lot of people have that one loadout. They'll
Yeah.
have that one surge or something.
They're
They,
just gonna run it
you
the whole
won't have
time.
all the stuff that
Right.
you need and at least they don't take advantage of all the tools because they either don't think about it, they don't think it's just easy to access. I used to agree, but like Tilly said, the loadout little button over there makes a world of difference if you just take a few seconds to just go ahead and just do it ahead of time.
And this is after they removed this is after they removed the additional ammo for doing like the hot swap on the chest piece.
Yeah.
So there's even less swapping now, right? Because you used to do that before you started an encounter to try to get extra ammo, and then like they took that out too. But it like I'm sure it's fun, Dan, right? Like it's like fun, like being more specific.
It's ingrained in my gameplay now. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like you don't need it. You can kind of just like no brain. Here's my single loadout that's really strong. I'm gonna run it through a lot of like easy stuff, but when you get to the harder stuff, it's fun to mix and do that.
Ren Vixen said on this show several years ago now that like you don't really need too much like in Destiny to get through like harder activities.
You really don't. You really don't. You really don't. But
there's a lot of nice to haves and not a lot of. Like,
I will tell you, it takes a while. It's very difficult to not use your swaps.
Right.
It's very difficult to not have your super during a dungeon. It's possible, but it would be a lot more fun, I think, for other people if they had the opportunities. If they're not running like me. Most people aren't crazy like me. But I think it'd be a lot more fun just from the reactions people have when they come in my stream and they're like, I could never do this. Oh my gosh, why don't you swap to another what is it? One of the exotic energy or kinetic bows for ammo, or why don't you swap to a different super, or things like that. They're just like sticking to this one thing has just got to be so boring. And that's one of the biggest things that people talk or tell me about is just watching you's fun, but doing it has got to be so boring. And I feel like it will having to do it this way may actually slow down the movement and momentum of the actual fight itself.
Yeah. And kind of make you more deliberate, maybe, is something that they're looking to aim.
Not being able to swap in dungeons specifically, because I don't think they're doing not swap in raids, right?
I don't think so.
Just the dungeons.
I think it's just in this right. I think it's just in this right of the night. Right of the night.
Yeah.
It being in the dungeons, I think would be more detrimental than in a raid. Because each person has to be able to do more jobs now.
Yeah.
You got to have your ad clear person. You got to have your ammo generating person. You got to have your whatever person instead of like, I can do these couple roles and then we can all do the DPS role. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I think it's going to be challenging for people who are doing helps, because when you're doing like, for me, like doing like challenging raid helps was kind of like the gateway drug into doing Lowmans, because when you're doing challenging helps, you're taking on more roles than you normally would in an activity, and so you kind of are doing like a little bit of a low man, like you're, and like
that's
this
gonna be rough
kind
without loadouts.
It's exactly. So doing helps, it's kind of like restricting how much more you can do, because you're restricting like what loadouts you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I still think it's going to be possible, and I agree with you, Dan. There are very little pieces of content that are so difficult in Destiny that you can't just run what you want to. But I'm hoping that Right of the Nine is going to be one of the ones that's really difficult. I want it to be Pantheon level difficult. Pantheon was a bright spot, and I hope it's that hard. So if that's the case, then we'll see.
To again quote Aura, smack me in the mouth. So I think that's a good place probably to land this plane. This plane's been going for almost 3 hours now.
Oh, wow.
So we could have flown
just
from
like
here.
The chat.
We could have flown from here to Florida by now, or anywhere else, because
a lot to talk about. It was a big twab.
It was a big twab.
Stuff.
Yeah. So why don't we go around? I know Asefa, where can people find you on the internet, good buddy?
Me? Oh, just Blue Sky. That's pretty much all I am. Like that's where I am. So Blue Sky, same name. Try to keep the name everywhere the same. But yeah, Blue Sky is pretty much the only thing, or in random discords of different people in the community. That's pretty much where, or in chats and Twitch chats.
Heck yeah. Tiddly, what about you?
I am on Blue Sky also. Tiddly there, and I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tiddly, Monday through Friday, 9:00 Central. I may be a little late this week though, because daylight savings is so hard.
Oh, dude, it sucks so bad.
I don't want to be. I'm probably gonna be a little late. I'm gonna be late
sucks
this
so
week.
bad.
I'm not. Yeah.
So bad.
So don't expect to show up on my stream at 9:00. I'm not gonna be on time. Nope, just letting you know this week. Usually I'm pretty good, but this week no.
Sammy Cat, what about you?
You can find me on hold on. Well, twitch.tv/SammyCat. I'm also Sammy Cat on Blue Sky and YouTube. And then I am Sammy Cat Plays on Twitter and TikTok, and there's another one. There you go. That's it. Yeah, so if I'm not Sammy Cat, I'm Sammy Cat Plays. It's pretty obvious. I put a picture of me. You probably don't know what I look like. Maybe sometimes. I'm like not getting any better about this. Okay, but that's where you can find me. Maybe next week will be better.
Sammy, you're killing it. You're always killing it, Sammy. So thank you. Epic Dan, what about you, buddy? Where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/epicdan22 on the TikTok, on the Blue Sky, on the YouTube. And if you Google epicdan22, you can find every platform. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere.
Everywhere.
And you can find me streaming on Twitch sometime
All
every
the
day.
time.
Even when I'm dreaming.
Omnipresent and omniscient.
Omnipresent.
Yes.
I'm there.
Dan is everywhere.
I'm Danfinity. I'm the other Dan here. You can find me on my own website, danfinity.gg, because why would you look anywhere else? You won't catch me on the Twitter unless I'm checking it once a week, in which case you better not hurt my feelings. And then
He'll talk about it on podcast.
I'll talk about it on the podcast. I'll let you have it. I'll let you know. You can check out my streams, twitch.tv/danfinity 3 times a week. And then this coming week, we have Guardian games. We have the Guardian game Rushdown Roulette that Sammy's also taken a part of. So check it out this week. And that's it for the show. Thanks for listening to episode 92 of the Destiny Digest podcast. I almost said Planet Destiny. Thank you so much, and I hope you find what you're grinding for.